simple. Drop a rock into the water, watch it ripple. Tides turn quick, just keep your head on a swivel. Competition getting stiff, I'm here to make you wiggle. You know me, surround your whole town, make you yell siege. All-star, homie, this the king's speech. You can lock it down, we gon' still preach. Boy, preach. Who's next in line? Can you make that climb? Now is the time, get out of your mind. Raise up the lights, we all here tonight, so let's do it right. Yo, we came here to fight. Who's next in line? Can you make that climb? Now is the time, this world is mine. Raise up the lights, we all here tonight, so let's do it right. Yo, we came here to fight. Boy, you already know I'm the real wonder. Before I bring the storm, you gonna feel thunder. So your body count is up there with killmongers. How about you come take a look at some real numbers? Might just double up on you while I still slumber. I'm the living proof, I'm just coming through for the thrill of it. Room full of all-stars, we all guys. Somebody gotta be Zeus, I'll take charge. Fight. Who's next in line? Can you make that climb? Now is the time, get out of your mind. Raise up the lights, we all here tonight, so let's do it right. Yo, we came here to fight. Who's next in line? Can you make that climb? Now is the time, this world is mine. Raise up the lights, we all here tonight, so let's do it right. Yo, we came here to fight. Positive, negative, I'll take charge and shake eyes, remain great while I pay homage. They always said that pressure can make diamonds, so keep climbing all the way up, that's where you'll find me. Right next to the legends, I go off my brethren. Said goodbye to the old me, I'ma make sure that you know me. After this here you gon' owe me. Didn't choose a game, it chose me. You know what G-O mean to an OG, let's go. Fight, who's next in line? Can you make that climb? Now is the time, get out of your mind. Raise up the lights, we all here tonight, so let's do it right. Yo, we came here to fight. Who's next in line? Can you make that climb? Now is the time, this world is mine. Raise up the lights, we all here tonight, so let's do it right. Yo, we came here to fight. Who's next in line? Can you make that climb? Now is the time, get out of your mind. Raise up the lights, we all here tonight, so let's do it right. Yo, we came here to fight. Who's next in line? Can you make that climb? Now is the time, this world is mine. Raise up the lights, we all here tonight, so let's do it right. Yo, we came here to fight. Yeah. Get your back off the wall. Come on, yep, come one, yep, come on. Get up, yep, get your back off the wall. Come on, yep, come one, yep, come on.
The night beckons while you dream. Never lives in peace. As you stand upon the edge, woven by a single thread,
Welcome back. It's another night of VCS action here on VCS English. It's a lovely Friday night, and I am joined by my good friends 𝘁𝘁𝗎𝘁𝗍 and 𝘁𝗏𝘁𝑇𝑟𝑒𝑏𝑙𝑒𝑓𝑜x. My name is Everyday, of course, as it always is. We've got a couple very big games for you, and we have an even bigger topic to talk about. But, Rebel, how are you feeling tonight?
Better than normal. Somehow more awake than normal. Usually I stay up for this, but I actually slept about an hour, and now for some reason I'm just completely recharged for all this excitation we're going to have with some of the best teams in the league. One of the most important player developments I think we've seen in any major region. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, tonight we're going to see 𝘁𝗀𝘺 again. I finally get to see it. I think that's the most important thing for me, at least tonight.
Oh, the 𝘁𝗀𝘺 fan club out in force. We love it. They haven't played on a Friday for ages, as you said. It's been unfair. 𝘁𝘁𝗍, how are you?
Am I in the wrong league? Why are we this excited for 𝘁𝗀𝘺?
Because it's Rebel. Rebel has his favourite player. In all seriousness, though, we do actually have a pretty big player development. In our second series tonight, 𝘀𝗶𝘆 will be taking to the Rift, and 99% they will have a new player, and it's a pretty important event. 𝘁𝘁𝗍, do you want to tell people what might be happening?
They've got 𝘁𝗀𝘺?
That's right.
No, not this time.
Oh,
That's our first series. 𝘁𝗀𝘺 comes first.
Okay.
That's right.
No. Really, though, they've picked up 𝘁𝑠, who is not a very high-profile player, as he has played a little bit in the LPL, but most importantly, he is an import. That's the thing. He's the first import that's actually going to play in the VCS. We flirted with the idea last split with 𝘁𝗀𝘺, but that never amounted to anything because rules, because Vietnam. And but now we're actually gonna get 𝘁𝑠 in. He's a Korean player, and gonna have to see how he integrates into the team.
Yeah, it's a pretty big thing. I kind of want to not talk about 𝘁𝑠 specifically, just for a little bit, because it's been a very controversial thing in our league. In our community. A lot of people not happy to see imports. And Rebel, by your accent, I think you know a thing or two about imports. What's your take on 𝘁𝑠 coming into the VCS?
So, I think 𝘁𝑠 as a player, it's been a while since he's actually played any sort of competitive. Bringing him in is interesting just because you start to get into an interesting dynamic of so when out of NA obviously is where the joke is coming from. But there's this trade-off of, okay, how good of a player do you want to bring in versus how much do you want to ruin team dynamics / communications by bringing in somebody that might not know the language? Because I don't know what if there's a language barrier, if there happens to be one, and if there isn't one, that's fantastic. But you still have to think about what the style of plays. You think about how late 𝘁𝑠 is coming in and whether or not the preparation is there, the scrim time's there to actually play with the rest of the team. It's an interesting move for a team that's already sitting in an okay place in the middle of our standings. They're 4-3. They're nothing super special. If 𝘁𝑠 is that extra weapon they need to get over the finish line and maybe get themselves into a top 3 position, I am all for it. But I'm a little hesitant to just say that he's a permanent solution, at least to start things off, if they're not ready to put him in yet.
Yeah, I do want to talk more about this, but there was a delay to the start. BTS was apparently late to get ready, so we were kind of having to guess when things were going to go live. So we'll have to shelve the 𝘁𝑠 discussion maybe to after our break from the first series, because first series, it's not 𝘁𝑠. It's going to be... Oh, actually, they're playing a feature, so we actually have some time. Again, flying by the seat of our pants here. Thanks, BTS. Try and show up on time so things run to plan. So some people... I think import is a very dirty word, partially because of the discussion about NA. Actually, quite majorly because of the discussion around NA.
Almost entirely because of NA.
But I think it is almost incomparable. Because no one is coming to the VCS for the retirement league, where you just get a big fat paycheck, because there's no paycheck. There obviously is a paycheck, but it's not big. 𝘁𝑠 would make more money playing in Tier 2 China than he probably would in Vietnam. Just because that's the reality. I actually think it's not bad. I think it brings a lot to the league if players are like, you know, I need to revitalize my career. I'm going to go over to Vietnam. I'm going to put on a show. And then hopefully, you know, after a split or two, he goes back to China or he goes back to Korea. I think it's a good thing. Marby, do you have any takes?
Yeah, I understand a bit of the kickback of you don't just want it to be, you don't want our region to look like Brazil or Turkey. But again, there's not really that monetary factor that's going to keep or be that big draw that brings a lot of washed up pros in. So you're just going to get people trying to kickstart their career, or people that just want to move to Vietnam for the sake of moving to Vietnam.
It's a lovely
That's probably
place.
not as likely, but they do exist. You get people like
that was Profit,
I think,
for the record. That was Profit. He had a Vietnamese, his partner was Vietnamese. And Vietnam's a lovely country, so things worked out. So that's why Profit moved over, even though he didn't end up being able to play. That is his reasoning.
Oh, then yeah, so you have those. So you're not really going to get as many people who are just there for the paycheck, there to kick around in a minor region. You're going to get people who are looking to actually prove something, I think, for the most part. So it's not that bad. It's going to look a lot more like imports were to Oceania, who either wanted to live in Australia or were looking to make a name for themselves, then move to get a fatter paycheck somewhere else.
Exactly, and I don't think that's a bad thing personally. I do understand where people in our community that are very upset about this move are coming from. I just disagree. In particular, I think replacing Pun is a good idea. He was the weak link of Cerberus for sure.
Yeah,
but
that's beyond true. I think any of us could make a joke about that somehow, but it's low hanging fruit to make a pun about Pun at this point, just because of how I will say I think Pun has actually had enough of a performance that I wouldn't have hated if they decided to keep him in. But I agree, if they were going to do something, then this would be the time to do it, especially halfway into the split where they have plenty of time. This is the time to make a move. This is a move that's a little wild and a little erratic, but I'm willing to see what Cerberus has to offer with it.
Exactly, and with that, we'll sort of table this discussion, at least for now, because we do have a whole series before any possibility of Cerberus playing their new player. It's going to be BTS taking on SBTC. Rebel obviously very hyped for this one. 𝘀𝘀𝘆 taking to the Rift, but let's have a look at our predictions to see how we actually think this one was going to go. And how did you guys lean on this one?
I think for the most part, we're looking at a lot of player difference, especially in the solo lanes, and that is going to result in a victory for SBTC. But you can never count out BTS. Not at least taking off one game. They've done it in most of their matches so far, so you can't keep them out.
I wrote them off. I don't think they take a game. I mean, I definitely think they could. You're not wrong, but they shouldn't. I feel like a lot of the predictions of 2-1, and Rebel, correct me if I'm mischaracterizing it, is more they always seem to do it, but is there really an analytical base for them to take a game? I think they get gapped in every position.
There's an argument to be made that there are positions that at least are there. I know it's a joke that's running, like 𝘀𝘀𝘆 is one of my favorite players, and he is one of my favorite players for a lot of reasons. And I think he has good performances, and I also think in the mid lane they actually have some okay play coming out. And so those two alone on their power are enough sometimes between 𝘀𝘀𝘆 and 𝘀𝘆, especially in a great game where like Big Corey and 𝘱𝑒𝗀𝑔 are doing okay. DH isn't falling too far behind. I agree. Like for the most part, I think that SBTCE, they're just the better team in general. In fact, actually, they made one of the most interesting roster moves outside of 𝘂𝗏 coming in, which was the signing of Venus, who, like, I was shocked when he wasn't on a team, and finding out that he was a free agent only just now signing to a team was a little shocking to me. I don't know if he plays over Slate today, especially since, I mean, he's brand new to the roster. But for the most part, they made a really interesting move, and I think it's going to work out for them eventually. And like you said, their team is just better, which is why it's hard to predict anything but a pure win for SE.
Yeah, exactly. So let's have a look at those bot lanes. We'll start with the side. I think we have a big choreographic production. Yell at me if
Yes, we do.
I'm wrong. So let's talk about Big Coro. Marby, I think this is something you wanted to discuss. Why is this a player that's got you interested?
Yeah, the matchup I really want to focus on is the bot lane as a whole, but more specifically on these AD carries. They are both really long-standing veterans of the VCS. They are both super important to their teams because we often feel like, and then we come at it from very different angles, because in the game, we feel like 𝘂𝘁𝗱𝗆, Celebrity we think he doesn't seem to do much because you've got this big name top lane, and top side of the map, rather. But in the end, he ends up doing a lot more damage than Big Coro, who we always seem to go back on and saying he's the main focus, but he's actually only 5th in damage share across his team for his position, which is really low for who we think of as the main carry of BTS. And you see lots of resources funneled into him. He gets 26. He gets around 30% of the gold share. He's involved in quite a lot of kills, but he's just not putting out a ton of stats. But he's not putting out as much damage as you would hope for his position. Whereas Celebrity, if we have his stats,
yeah, we can flick over to the Celebrity. No, we should. I think we do. Okay, yep. So we can go over to Celebrity. Continue your point.
Whereas if we go over to Celebrity, he's pumping out damage. Actually, no, he's not pumping out damage. Wow, I got my stats mixed up. No, never mind.
Good job.
I had a thing in my mind, but then when Spoods was making the graphic last second, he said something that made me question everything I came around to. But yes, Celebrity. He's also he's a big part of 𝘂𝘁𝗍𝘁𝗆. He's involved in a lot of kills. Some of the highest first bloods in the series are coming from that bot lane. He gets quite a bit lower share, puts out a bit lower damage. And really, mostly I wanted to highlight these two because they're the only players with pentakills this split. And that's another reason. Yeah.
It's all right. We'll bail you out. Rebel, what is your take on this bot lane matchup? So I just want to, before you start, I think the Venus acquisition is really interesting. I have a sneaking suspicion it's temporary because 𝘁cie just had a kid. But what's your take on this bot lane?
Both sides, I think, are relatively important to their teams. The support matchup's the thing I'm watching the most because they both tend to actually play pretty aggressive type supports where they're both liking to jump in and play quite a bit. They actually both are also close to bottom in deaths as it comes to supports, just because they love to throw their bodies at things. And both bot lanes also, the ADCs are two of the lowest in terms of kill participation, which is just indicative of the fact that both of these teams don't really play to the bottom side. And especially with a shift towards some of the later game ADCs. We talk about Ezreal, we talk about Jinx, we talk about Tristana popping her head back into the meta. Kai'Sa still being really prevalent. It's possible that we do just end up with later game team fights if one team doesn't accelerate the top half of their map really quickly, and it comes down to a Big Coro versus Celebrity contest, which you can say what you want about who's better between those two, but the setup of the game obviously is going to dictate it quite a bit more than just who is better at any given moment. But I think it's entirely likely that at least one, if not more than one of these games, is just going to come down to which ADC is going to be able to do their job better.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. And then I will throw again to you to let you sort of run a bit. I know you're playing up your love for 𝘀𝘀𝘆. It's obviously a bit of a meme, but how do you think he's going to perform in the current meta? It has been a while since you've seen BTS, so what do you think about 𝘀𝘀𝘆 in the last little bit?
𝘁𝗄𝗆𝘆, as long as I've known 𝘀𝘀𝘆, doesn't seem to be something that really fits alongside where the meta has shifted, where we're starting to see Skarner, we're seeing Chemtank, Hecarim, we're seeing some more economy type builds for junglers, which is something that worries me a little bit. It also has been the case that he hasn't been the best at receiving resources from his team to accelerate as a jungler, as opposed to, playing to his lanes or something like that. And I'm curious if there is a strategic difference between what a 𝘁𝗏𝗺 looks like when he's actually getting played to versus when he's playing to his lanes, especially when it comes to these economy champions. But I don't suspect that it's going to go very well, especially when you're looking across from Jin, who he seems to be pretty well versed in just about anything. I feel like you could throw him into any meta and he'd be perfectly fine. So that's my run of the risk right now, is whether or not they're going to make any shift at all towards some of the newer junglers, towards some of the economy stuff, or if they just maintain this like Kayn and 𝘂𝑺 and things of that sort that have been prevalent already, and just try their hand at making that work still.
Well, let's head into the champion select. You will notice BTS do not get a ban for their first one. They were late. That's why the stream is late and why we didn't get the time to talk about things we want to talk about. But hey, it's no big deal. They lose a ban. It's just the one ban. Because VCS punishments are very consistent and make total sense. But that is the situation. Samira, Lilia, and Camille taken out. Where would you like to see these teams going draft-wise, Marby?
I would like to see lots of bot lane focus, etc., etc. I especially want to see Ezreal more so on the side of SBTC, because Celebrity doesn't really get a lot of focus, especially if 𝘁 is playing still. So if he's in, get that Ezreal pick. It's been completely neglected by the VCS so far.
Hello. Sorry to cut you off.
This is new.
There's a debut. 𝘁𝗂𝗍 is going to the Rift. All right. This is someone we don't know very much about. You had a strong reaction. Marby, do you want to explain your reaction?
Okay, so this could just be a bit of an overreaction. I mean, we've had one of our best rookie classes this year, in this split in particular, with the rookies that are on 𝘁𝗶𝗆, putting up massive numbers and huge improvements from like 𝘁𝗏𝗺 and 𝘂𝑺. So I'm glad to see 𝘁𝗂𝗍, because I want to see more young blood in, just taking over from these terrible old players like TH, who are just not putting out anything for their team, and give the new kid a shot. If he's bad, you can always fall back to TH, but I'm glad to see 𝘁𝗂𝗍 in. I'm glad to see Tristana priority. I'm not so happy to see Bard hop this.
It's alright. It's an Alistar lock-in. I should remember as well, Elio on Bard is actually pretty mean. It's pretty good. Not really the meta for it. And we actually have two ADCs that I want to talk about, because Rebel, you had some 11.5 stats. It's actually still 11.4 as we can see. But do you want to talk about this Tristana?
She's just become the highest priority champion, and especially you made mention very clearly that the VCS, you're already seeing it flexed into the mid and top lane. You combine that with just how powerful the champion becomes in 11.5 or comparative to other ADCs, and it's ridiculous. So it's cool to see that VCS, as opposed to previous splits where we would just be avoiding things like this, like the plague, now are able to actually pull out these champions a lot faster. And Jinx is another one of those examples where like Jinx has become, I wouldn't say a mainstay or just like an absolute top tier pick. It's not something you're picking every single game, but it's at least something you're considering for the majority of games, especially when you get your hands on Thresh in the same way that Aphelios used to be for these teams. So I really like this kind of quicker adapting that we're seeing for teams during the course of the split. It makes me proud to see the VCS start to pick up on trends.
Yeah, I was very, very critical of the VCS, just not watching other regions and just figuring out what else is good in the meta and just defaulting back to the same old picks over and over. For BTS, they actually look like they've read patch notes since last week, and we've got Hecarim's, we've got Tristana's. It's good to see.
Yeah, I like it. The way I think of Jinx is very much, if you get to pick Aphelios, just pick Jinx at the moment. She's just kind of Aphelios, but better. And the bans continuing to come in. Dia 1 losing access to two champions he would play there, the Aurelia and the Azir. A lot of mid lane bans in this one.
Wait. $5 says there's a blind Gnar. $5. I knew it.
There you go.
We were hyping them up. We thought the VCS...
Someone's got to donate $5 now, because I'm not paying.
Not gonna be me. But I think the main thing this is looking to do is for BTS and all these mid lane bands is try and force someone onto a Syndra pick where they're not happy. Whereas 𝘁𝑚𝑒, there's been a lot of mid lane bands. How on earth are you going to pick Lissandra over that? It's going to be actually 𝘀𝗰𝗆 top though for Ryuk, which is very interesting.
I mean, she's pretty strong on 11.4. 𝘁𝗁 is kind of, I mean, it's 𝘁𝗁. I don't like saying 𝘁𝗁 top, but it's pretty strong.
Yeah, and there we go. With so much mid pressure down, you can just take away. You can just almost force that Syndra pick if SBTC wants any AP damage, because there's not a lot left. Though, I still want to see more Ryze.
Yes.
Ryze is really strong, but
It's better than
it's
Syndra.
been completely neglected
I agree.
in the VCS.
It's a lot better than Syndra. I'm not a huge fan of the Syndra pick. I feel like the thing about this BTS comp is I wouldn't be surprised if we see a tank 𝗂𝗄𝗏. I think that would actually be the ideal build. I don't think 𝘳𝗏𝗺 will get tank 𝗂𝗄𝗏, but I actually wouldn't mind it because you just want to play backline. Just let your Victor and your Tristana do all of your damage. Rebel, what's your take on this draft? Who's walked away with a win?
So, like, the expectation is that just, like, SE has better players for the most part, but shockingly, I actually really like BTS's draft here. It's actually more so that SE's draft feels really responsive. I've actually played 𝘁𝗁 into Gnar 3 times in the past week alone. That matchup feels really, really good for 𝘁𝗁 top lane, just because every time you land a Q, that's like a quarter of the Gnar's health bar. It doesn't matter what the situation is. So, and your wave clear is good enough to keep him out, so it's about his impact on the map. It feels like Syndra is an equalizing pick at best, and she's really used for her stun. And then you've got Udyr, who isn't the most active. It's certainly not as active as a 𝗂𝗏𝗏 will be early, so it feels like SE is built entirely around getting 𝘁𝚀 into late game when you've got 2 or 3 really good options with, like, 𝗂𝗏𝗏 and then Tristana 𝘴𝑚 to attack the map with.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I agree. I really like BTS's composition. I'm excited to see Ryuk. More rookies are always fun. Ryuk is also one that the community has been super curious about. He's been sticking around for quite some time. But Rebel, you got to give me a prediction for game 1. That was a cool intro. Look at that deer.
Oh dear. 𝘳𝗏𝗺 diff. Chem tank 𝗂𝗏𝗏 incoming.
Finally.
It's gonna be a dub.
Fair enough. So let's head on in, Marby. We are on Summoner's Rift. And where are your eyes being drawn by these drafts?
Straight away to top lane, because there is a bit of a 𝘁𝗀𝗋 effect. No, never mind. No fun allowed.
And there's a pause.
No fun allowed. No fun allowed.
Let's go back to the cameras, and I guess we'll get Rebel back, because why not? We've had 5 seconds on the Rift. Unless that's hurting production. If I am, I'm sorry. Okay, cool. God, our production is good. Everyone type thank Mr. Spoods. So we were seeing a little bit of cheese up on the top side. We'll ignore that for now. We don't know if it's going to go anywhere. Is the top lane matchup really where your eyes drawn? Because I don't think 𝘁𝗏𝗆 is going to be much more than a farm fest. Where are your eyes really drawn?
Realistically, it's going to be... it's actually really hard to determine where to draw the eye, because there's not a lot of anything that's going to be happening. Syndra versus Victor should be, for the most part, a farm vest. I expect you can set up a few more ganks there, because Syndra's got a pretty strong early game still. Udyr can just walk in and make a gank happen. So maybe around that mid lane, but for the most part, we're looking at 3 lanes that are all just looking to sort of farm up and get small advantages off of each other and go for pure laning strength. So the junglers are going to have to make things happen to really break open the game. So no lane in particular draws your eye. So it has to be the jungle matchup.
Rebel, do you agree?
Yeah, I think the jungle matchup has a lot more of an impact in this particular game. Double chem tank, if that's what we're going to see from both junglers, which I would like to see. Again, as you said, 𝘳𝗏𝗆 might not fall into that trap, but I think they dictate a good amount of the pace. For me, I want to see Yejin just kind of control what 𝗀𝗃𝗺 is capable of doing. Because if you are able to use these equalizing lanes, eventually the 𝘁cie does come through for your comp, and 𝘁𝗀𝗃 is able to pretty much auto attack freely. As it looks like I'm going to get kicked out again. So have fun, guys.
Bye, Rebel. Thanks for coming back.
Bye, Rebel.
We are heading into game. Elio, I think I do agree. I think the jungle role is going to be pivotal, but I do think the supports are also going to be free to roam quite a lot. 𝘂𝗍𝗏, 𝘂𝗏𝗃, first trade in the VCS going pretty well. He wins this one pretty hard. It doesn't hit that last Q, but still comes out with a health lead. But it's 𝘁𝗁𝗁. Who cares?
Yeah, it should be very, very low impact. Once you see 𝘂𝗏 hitting 6, that's where things can get really interesting. Or when 𝗀𝗃𝗺 hits 6, because then you can actually look to make ganks happen, set up for ganks, that sort of thing. But until then, just going to be a bit of a trading back and forth. Now, there is potential for something on the bot lane. It is, of course, Halo Blades. Tristana, you have the Ignite on the Alistar. So if Hecarim wants to do like a full clear bot side, wait for his bot lane to hit level 2, if they can get the push in the early level 2, they can go for the all-in. But it looks like currently SBTC has the lane pressure, so that's going to hamper BTS's ability to get that level 2 cheese off. But they get a very good trade onto 𝘁cie.
Yeah, 𝘁's just been absolutely whipped. The power of the Tristana coming in, even just at that level 1. They do have to back off. The wave position does mean SBTC do get the first level 2, but they're in a good position. There's no real chance of anything happening for now.
Yeah, 𝘁 trading his health buff for that level 2 is 100% worth, because now they have that full control. It's not going to be a huge advantage for them, for the most part, realistically, but it does stop BTS from finding it, which is absolutely the win when your entire hope is basically scaling for that late game and playing Praise the Puppy.
Yeah, pretty much. This 𝘁𝗃 is going to have to do a lot for SBTC.
I miss that terminology. Everyone calls it Mr.
Oh,
President.
hang on a minute. 𝘁 in a lot of trouble. Is ignited. 𝘁𝗏𝗆 flashing forward, using the heal as well. Will not get the kill. I think that's a huge mistake out of 𝘁𝗏𝗆 at the end. Elio started the play so well. Oh, we can't stop as there's a flash bear slap into the Syndra stun, and that's a first blood for the super big time chicken.
That's how you use a flash, but never mind. No breaks on the VCS train. Actually, there's a ward, so... 𝘂𝗏𝗆 going away from his turret is actually the wrong move here.
Oh, it is. There's a flash forward from the Hecarim. Only one more auto attack, and 𝘀𝗃𝗺 reads the play excellently, and it's a toaster bath for 𝘂𝗏 this time rather than his fan club. That's a joke. It's going to sound horrible if you don't get it.
Yeah, that's yeah. No, 𝗀𝗃𝗺 walking over the ward. 𝘂𝗏 thinks he's doing the right thing. We've praised him a lot for being a lot more defensive and backing off, but there, the opportunity to outplay really would have been the way to go. 𝗀𝗃𝗺 actually going with the flash, so maybe didn't expect it, that distance to close quite so fast. But 𝘂𝗏 gets punished. That's a kill over to the jungler, so he's out on the map with those Moby boots the Lucidity boots really quickly. And 𝗀𝗃𝗺 making things happen pre-6 is really good signs for a Hecarim.
Yeah. That is very, very good to see. 𝘂𝗃. We've got the assist as well. Actually, thought it might have timed out, but no. 𝘂𝗃 did manage to pick up some gold, has gone back, picked up a couple of books. That's good. When you play Karma top, it's good to have something to read because you don't have much else to do. Yijin stealing away a wolf camp. 𝗀𝗃𝗺 might try and make something out of this, but kind of wins that trade. Yeah, Dio is first to the punch, but I don't think they really want to make anything real out of this. I think Yijin will just assert his dominance in the jungle and then wander on away.
And SBTC have decided that that DO1 actually wants to play League of Legends this week because they are setting up so much around mid. We saw those wars come in, but we're just looking at this replay. Good
Easy
pressure from 𝘁𝗀𝗆, but it's a bit of a bait as a quick wraparound and a good flash. Yeah. 𝘂𝘶, he sees him on the ward now, pings it out, starts walking away.
I actually think this is his best chance. I think he's dead 100% there.
I mean, it's really hard to say. I think you try, and if you are going to use your flash, you either try and outplay around the tower and get a kill back. Slightly hard with Karma, I know, but that's one thing you can do. Or you just cop the L, save your flash.
Ryuk, he's a rookie, but they're happy to
Copping
invest
L?
resources into him, which I like to see, as 𝘂𝟏 just has to teleport. That he had no choice, he had to teleport to save his top laner there. Well played by 𝘀𝘀𝘆 as well. Didn't invest anything and got the teleport.
Very, very good decision making from BTS, knowing to just back off as soon as that teleport comes down. And I think it's less about investing resources into Ryuk and more into shutting down 𝘂𝘶. 𝘂𝘶 has been the best player for SBTC, in my opinion, by a decent margin. Celebrity hasn't been much of a slouch either, but really strong showing from 𝘂𝘶 so far this split. And just if they can keep that player down, that should improve their chances of winning by quite a lot. Oh,
well done. They get out of there.
That was depressing.
So red buff thieving as 𝘀𝘀𝘆, he made a good play towards the top side, but Yejin has been farming very nicely, stealing away some resources. 𝘂𝘂𝘀 and the 𝗂𝘂𝗀 going back and forth quite nicely at the moment. We pointed out the jungle matchup is going to be very important. And so far, both junglers performing admirable.
And
Hook has landed. Yejin is here. 𝘂𝘀𝘀 could be in trouble, but the headshot's pretty good against 𝘂𝘂𝘀. But Thresh Lantern bails out a possibly failing play, but look at the other side. It's 𝘀𝘀𝘆 coming in and crushing 𝘂𝘶 under his hooves.
Yep, BTS just, they're doing the good old, they're giving 𝘂𝘶 the direst treatment, and that may be a really strong, that's going to feed their 𝗂𝘂𝘀 extremely well. So we see Super Mega Death Rocket not do a whole lot of anything. But Ryuk now, he could pivot. He's going to pivot into a very supportive build, as you'd expect, but maybe he wants to be a little bit more greedy and push this advantage with the extra gold he's gotten. But it's going to be topside control completely for BTS. Should be looking to pick up this Rift Herald soon, but no, just hanging out in his jungle. Meanwhile, on the bot side of the map, yeah, we saw a great response from 𝘂𝘂𝘀 to attack the pincer, and just big 𝘂𝘀, 𝘂𝘂𝘀 turning on that 𝘂𝘂𝘀, knocking him under the tower. If it was any other sport, probably gets a kill there.
Yeah, maybe. As the Chaos Storm has been used, 𝘂𝑚 ripping that one out this mid lane to once again defend the jungle. Yejin playing very aggressively from that angle. 𝘂𝘂𝘀 landing a good stun, but no mana for any follow-up. So 𝘂𝑚 will walk away, and it's going to be a Rift Herald fight, as the bot lanes are both here. The hook will not land, but 𝘂𝘀𝑚's engage does get knocked away. Yejin gets the smite, but now they have to secure the eye. I don't think there's any chance of it. So in the end, the Herald goes nowhere unless 𝘂𝘶, he might try and make a really big play. I think he can get this if they coordinate this. He flashes the wall, hops over, and he gets Lantern down, but they're not going to go for it. Alright, fair enough.
Very, very good defense of the eye there from BTS. They stop anything from going down. The main factor was, in my opinion, that 𝘂𝘂𝘀 really couldn't participate. He would have only had auto attacks to contribute, whereas although 𝘂𝘂𝘀 was half health, he can still chunk out a few laser beams, and that's still a lot of AoE damage that he can put out before he goes down. And that means, yeah, SBTC absolutely did not want to fight around that Rift Herald. They only got the smite down because they were there so much earlier. And now the lane swap has come in. Maybe this gives big 𝘂𝘀𝘀 a good chance to break some turret plates down, because it looks like SBTC are not going to be making a response to it and just opting into these 1v2 lanes.
I think SBTC, it's an interesting decision for sure, but Jinx, while she isn't as fast as Tristana, Does get tower plates down pretty quickly. That minigun form does a fair bit of work. The issue here is 𝘁𝗏's just going to wave clear. 𝘁𝗏 can range wave clear. You just get one alt Q. Ooh, 𝘂𝗏𝗺's in. Oh, 𝘂𝗏𝗺 might die. Yep, there's the 𝘁𝗻𝗃 ult. He's 100% dead. Oh, but he flashes away. Well played there out of 𝘂𝗏. Dodging the LEO engage. But now the robots arrive. The gravity field is out. Can 𝘂𝗏 float away from this one? Any more spells? They land. And 𝘂𝗏 caught on a ward. There's a teleport into the top side. 𝘂𝗏 is in trouble. He's going to get fed to the pony. And 𝘂𝗏𝘃 are collapsing.
Okay, that delay did mean that 𝘂𝗏𝘃 has the advantage on the tower. And
Ryuk's in a lot of trouble. There's a 𝘂𝗏. There's the chompers. It's 1 for 2. Kill to celebrity.
And Rocket just for style points. But interestingly, BTS have decided to rotate back down. They really want to fight for this dragon, I guess. But it's a very interesting choice. They could have just looked to take the tower, and now 𝘂𝗏𝘃 are going to get everything. They're going to have the. Oh yeah, they're going to get the tower. They're going to get the dragon. They're not going to get the tower. They still have many more plates down on the spot lane tower, so the
pings are coming in. They want to take a fight off the back of this. Yejin's actually pretty exposed. Is the lantern up? It's not. So the dragon goes to 𝘂𝗏𝗃, but they do kill the 𝘂𝗏. 𝘂𝗏 moving in, has no Naba, still gets Glory's flash. Respect
Glory
flash
in a
given.
rough position there. Had to flash that, but it's a dragon for 1 kill. That's about even at this point, I guess, because it's just an Ocean Drake. It does bring 𝘂𝗏𝗃 closer to the thing, and yeah, there's a really hidden ward in that Baron wall, and that spots 𝘂𝗏, so they collapse on him. Glory misses the E somehow. I'm calling a little bit of shenanigans there. But
gets the kill.
And ult's a bit late. Could have gotten that a little bit earlier, and maybe that speeds up their play. But here, Ryuk, they C4 on the top side, and 𝘂𝗏𝗃 decides to gank bot lane. They could have finished off the tower and then fought for the dragon, but they choose not to go for that gold and get.
So it is a chem tank. It is the chem tank Hecarim, and I know people are saying, "Well, what do you mean? Of course it's chem tank Hecarim. That's standard." It is now. I thought Drakthar might still go a more aggressive option, but let's go the chem tank. I like that. I think this is a good decision.
Wrong to me. I know it's objectively correct. I know it's right.
But see, for me, I feel
morally wrong.
I'm the opposite. I think it is like morally wrong for Hecarim to not build chem tank. Hecarim run fast. Hecarim go brrrr.
Yeah, but Hecarim tank.
Yeah, Hecarim tank feels wrong, but he runs fast. Anyway, moving swiftly onwards. This is an interesting situation. It's about a 700 gold lead for BTS, but 2 dragons over to 𝘂𝗏𝗃. I think there's a lot of weight on Drakthar's shoulders right now. They need to snowball this jungle lead. And what do you know? They're doing it.
Yeah, Drakthar making things happen as soon as we call him out on it. It's like, hey, Drakthar, do something. Okay, I'll kill 𝘂𝗏. Luckily for BTS this time, Drakthar doesn't steal the kill. It goes over to Glory, who is now 2-1, having a very good game on this Victor. And Ryuk putting up a good showing in this counter pick up against 𝘂𝗏. And that's a promising sign for BTS, as top lane was a huge weakness. If Glory can regain his form from last split, they could make a late split run for maybe not playoffs.
I think playoffs is aggressive,
overall,
but dodging relegations.
They can punch for that 5th place position. They can maybe bite at the heels.
Hang on, let's have a look at this play. Yeah, it was just Drakthar coming in. That's a really fed Hecarim. Nothing 𝘂𝗏 can do there. Didn't have flash. So good. Drakthar needs to keep it up, though. It can't stop. Yejin moving in onto Ryuk, giving a big old slap. But now look who's arrived. It's the big pony. Slay is zoned off. Oh, the Super Mega Death Rocket is a bees. I can't finish that, but it is very close to the kill. Glory throwing the laser, doesn't quite get them, and 𝘂𝗏𝗃 will evacuate.
Yeah, very good collapse from the side of BTS. Ryuk living on a sliver of health after that rocket comes through. I don't know if he'd used the Everfrost already, but that would have...
I think he only just bought it.
Yeah, but now he has it. It's going to be a lot harder to get on top of him and keep on top of him at the very least.
Steal this. Yijin, yeah, he's going to go over. The blast cone there. It is equal levels. I think 𝗀𝗃𝗺 secured it, though. Yep, he did. He picked up the eye. Yep. Good job there by BTS.
Yeah, and now BTS...
Oh, hang on! 𝗂𝗃𝗺 ultimate! It's available again! Big 𝘁𝗀 jumped over the wall. 𝘁 has to find the way out. Will not be able to do it. Yijin in the thick of it. 𝘁 whipping in the rockets, but they don't have the damage quite yet. Oh, dear! 1! Lovely, lovely play. Kill for the Jinx. 𝗀𝗃𝗺 on the run, but Yijin, quick boy, cannot quite catch the pony. But what a play out of DL1.
Grabbing that flank position was so crucial. Now they're going to get those kills. They're going to get the tower. That's going to be another dragon that puts them on soul point. That has completely flipped the game back into the favor of SBTC. All of very strong vision control off the side of the chickens. And it's been this way the entire game. They've had great control around the river, especially around mid lane, and just use that to find positions, find invades. Hasn't exactly worked out because 𝗀𝗃𝗺 has been hitting these lanes, but now it does. It pays off massively. As we see here, yeah, Dia teleports from the bot side into the river. 𝘁𝟁 should have spotted that teleport, but his mind was focused on the fight, so Dio gets a perfect 3-man stun, and it's just easy cleanup for the Jinx from there.
Yeah, only 𝗀𝗃𝗺 was able to flash away. He ends up escaping. But that is just a consolation prize for BTS, as that is 3 kills onto the Jinx. Oh, that is a bit of a disaster. They will be able to take a fair bit of gold back as they do get this top tower down, but the game is now gold even, and there are 3 Drakes for SBTC.
Yeah, SBTC as a whole have been playing the macro extremely well. Strong vision, as mentioned before. They've played around got the tower plates a lot better. They didn't end up giving too many to contest dragons and go for kills. They just went for tower plates onto 𝘁. So he's got first brick, solo gold. He's got now 4 kills after that last play. He is extremely
2
fed.
items at 18 minutes.
Yeah, he is probably the most fed member on the map in terms of gold values. But Yijin, he's very angry at this horse. He's like, you're not meant to be the good jungler. I'm Yijin. I'm meant to be the good jungler. Sarah's looking for something with this Mega Gnar. Probably not going to find anything. And it's just control over this mid lane retained for SBTC. They have vision set up around this Baron, and that's going to be the next target in terms of where play is looking to go. Unless 𝗀𝗃𝗺 wants to go and dive this very low turret.
I think they're just going to walk in and take this one. There's actually a good bit of passage of play there for BTS, kind of reading resets, reading the map position, realizing, hey, we can completely crack open the mid lane. That actually does set them in a pretty good position. I think BTS is still probably stronger in a fight at the moment. Just I think 𝗂𝗃𝗺 at this stage of the game is still stronger than Jinx, but that will not last forever. It's just a matter of SBTC sort of navigating the end of this early to mid game and proceeding into the mid game proper. 2.5 minutes on the dragon. Lucky for BTS, it is just a Cloud Soul.
It is just a Cloud Soul, which means Yijin gets to run extremely fast.
It's actually a really bad Cloud Soul for SBTC. Yijin is the only one that cares.
Yeah, it's definitely not the best. I mean, Dia definitely likes more to ult more, but that's about all you're getting out of it. So good news for BTS, especially because if they manage to pick it up, that's a lot of good news for Ryuk. It's great for 𝗀𝗃𝗺. And I mean, everyone loves that, especially Elio with a 4-stack Cloud Drake. Oh man, you just have permanent ult.
I mean, if we're getting to... If BTS somehow gets a Drake, I will probably have already left the broadcast, because I don't think... That should not be how the game goes, but we'll have to see if they get 4 Drakes. after not getting any of the early ones.
I mean, it's definitely still possible.
I mean, it would have to be a 40 minute. It would have to be a 40-minute.
Oh, it would be a very long game, but
anyway, Celebrity funking those rockets in still. Did go the Phantom Dance a second. Oh, hello. Welcome to the VCS, 𝘂𝘂𝗍. See you, mate. Looks like it was your name in the Death Note.
yeah, 𝘂𝑺 like, hang on a minute. This is my lane. I'm the Demon King here. And so he kills. So he just kills 𝘂𝘂𝗍. And yeah, it was bound as I mean.
That is a mistake from 𝘂𝘂𝗍. You should never be dying in this matchup. We'll have to see a replay of exactly how it happened, but that should never.
It's rough because he did get dived, so he was probably feeling relatively safe under turret. But 𝘂𝑺 just stride breakers in, blows with the ultimate with Mega Gnar, and just blows him up. Maybe got a bit of good poke down beforehand, but with that, it sort of loses it drags control away from the mid lane for BTS. Dia is left uncontested on the top side to pick up another turret, and that's just going to drag the gold slightly more towards the side of SBTC. But BTS are definitely going to upset the dragon stacking and pick up a free dragon because they are just there so much earlier, and 𝘂𝑺 should just be able to keep Eugen away with his headbutt.
Yeah, it will have to be a full commit, but 𝘂𝑺 is actually Mega Gnar, so this is a bit dangerous, but the smite comes in from 𝘀𝘀𝘆. SBTC, do they still want to fight? Looks like they're going to if they can. 𝘂𝑺 can't get close, though. Dia1 hitting a lovely stun. 𝘂𝑺 going low. Yijin, he goes into the back line with no friend! And like the friendless loser playground, beat to within an inch of his life and taken down. 𝘀𝘀𝘆 getting chunked, but he's still a big pony. Celebrity can't quite do enough damage yet. There's the Syndra ultimate coming out. Can Dia1 land another big stun? He certainly can. Gets to 𝘀𝘀𝘆 low. 𝘂𝘂𝗍 trying to speed them on out of there. But the flash forward, a big Everfrost. Play going low. He'll go now. Celebrity excited. Oh my! As they keep on going, Zap Cannon comes out. 𝘂𝑚𝑖 will be able to run. 𝘂𝑺 over the wall, could be going back into Mega Gnar. The slow lands. This will be disassembled. And SBTC pick up a few kills on the back end of the fight.
It's actually a huge sacrifice from 𝘂𝑺 and 𝘂𝑚𝑖. They are able to turn the entire thing into a 2-for-2. Unfortunately, SBTC, they have map position, they can try and turn it into that Baron play. But 𝘀𝘀𝘆's fast, he can maybe make it there in time. They also have Karma speed up. They can be there for the fight if they choose.
The issue is actually winning the fight, because 𝘂𝑚𝑖 is still dead, has TP, 5k health on the Baron, dropping very quickly. I think 𝘀𝘀𝘆 needs to be looking for a steal. They can't stop him getting into the pit. There it is, it's going low, it's secure. 𝘀𝘀𝘆 gets to the backside, but it was always going to be a way trip. 𝘂𝑺 is going to be paying for the sin. Well, as Celebrity funking the rockets in, that's a lot of AoE coming out. Well, with the Q, they actually pick up a kill on the backside. 𝘂𝑚𝑖 doing well, they pick up 2! That's 2 Baron buffs down. Sloppy play out of SBTC.
Yeah, they overcommit. 𝘂𝑺 just lasts so long with that Aftershock and ultimate. He just is able to drag them into that choke point. But here we see 𝘂𝑺 gets chunked out and survives the ultimate from Celebrity with his own.
Super good play from 𝘂𝑺.
Blows them up. Here, 𝘀𝘀𝘆 gets a little bit high fear, going way ahead of his team, and it's a good thing
it was Dia. It was Dia. 𝘀𝘀𝘆, I think he was relying on 𝘂𝘂𝗀𝘀 coming in Tribush, but Dia hit another 2-man stun without vision. That was a really good read.
Alright, yeah, fair enough. And then 𝘂𝑚𝑖 thinks they're going to chase him, so he walks up towards the top side, ends up coming back to try and make sure his team can get out. It ends up being 𝘂𝑚𝑖 going down instead of them chasing on and getting 𝘂𝘂𝗀𝘀 and 𝘀𝘀𝘆. So I think in the end that was the correct play to make from him, but he does end up sacrificing his life, and it goes for a 2-for-2 overall.
Yeah, and there's a bit of a scrap in the jungle, but the red buff.
Gets that. Thank you.
Well, I mean, it does deny the handoff to 𝘂𝘂𝗀𝘀. I think they definitely wanted to give that over to the Tristana. But definitely no mortal blow there. So let's have a replay of the Baron fight.
Yeah, and here we just see, 𝘀𝘀𝘆's too late, 𝘂𝑺. But here, 𝘂𝑺 is just extremely tanky and
hang on.
lasts
I'm looking at that picture in picture.
Oh, no, that's
Hang on, picture in picture. That's a Yijin caught out. He has to find a way, but he's got to run through. He's getting close. Will he have to toss the honey fruit as well? They don't even throw it. Yeah, he's too tanky. Boy, 𝘁𝘁𝗀𝘀 and 𝘀𝗀𝘺 just don't do enough. The hook doesn't land. The chompers don't quite open up. Does 𝘂𝑎𝑟𝑜s want to make a big play here? Throws the rock, hops on over, and I think this cow is going to be well done as 𝘁𝑐elebrity gets a lovely dinner.
Yeah, and lots of hesitation, just walking back and forth, not knowing what to do for BTS, ends up sacrificing 𝘁𝑁𝘁. If they made a commitment to the top side, they might have been able to get him out of there, but they don't do it. Just ends up with a free kill going down to SBTC, because I mean, you can catch Yijin, but 2 tanks catching 1 tank is just a lot of people sort of just calling each other rude names. That's what that basically amounted to.
Pretty much. It is just a slap fight. The siege in the mid lane. This is now a 7-0 Jinx. 3 items completed. 𝘁𝑐elebrity absolutely massive. It's a team effort though. They have been feeding 𝘁𝑐elebrity kills.
Yeah, their team fighting.
No question, he's been playing well as well.
Yeah, their team fighting has all been very crisp and clean. They've all been playing quite well together, but all these.
Oh, hang on, we have an engage as 𝘀𝗀𝘺 finds the back line. They take down. Gotta go get those miracle stuns this fight. Yijin on the run. 𝘁𝑐elebrity throws out the hook. Down the 𝗂𝗂𝗏, the boxing well. Flashes away. But the dragon is up, and I think this is going to be another one over to BTS. And oh no, I said I was going to leave if they got 4.
I hope I don't have 2 more chances. But they are going to give that up for quite a lot of pressure in the mid lane. It is a Jinx, a very fair Jinx. She's going to melt the mid lane turret.
The lantern, it's so strong. Jinx. Jinx basically becomes a completely different champion if she has a Thresh, I should say. Now 𝘂𝑒ros in trouble. The 𝘂𝑒𝑏𝑟 misses from Ryuk. That almost looked like he launched it the wrong way. Fortunate stuff, maybe a bit of nerves. But 𝘁�elebrity back to pretty much full health.
So the thing with 𝘂𝑒𝑟 is it's really bad for 𝘂𝑐E. It is terrible for 𝘂𝑐E because the cone launch is so slow that you end up walking halfway through the thing as it fires, which is why it looked so janky there for Ryuk. But it's just so... These team members for SBTC are really hard to kill without Tristana there. And, I mean, we have to talk about Glory's item mythic choice here. There is such a strong frontline for SBTC. You should have still gone for the Liandry's. It's not like you're sharing that with anyone. Ryuk not gonna be building anything other than the 𝘂𝑒𝑟 in the top lane. If he's not building that, he would have been building Moonstone. So it's gonna be a very, very hard time cutting through this front line unless Big Korra gets to just free fire onto them.
I mean, I think that is the hope, and I think it's very possible. Tristana, obviously, as the game goes up and up in range, Yijin is going to struggle to get on top of them as well. Very similar situation. So SBTC definitely need to execute well, as both teams are just cutting each other's waves. Interesting gameplay at the moment, but it will be the chickens rotating down to the bot side to look for this inner tower.
Yeah, it's going to be a trade on towers, and it's going to be sort of a base race, but I mean, 𝘂𝑒𝑟𝑜s is going back, so just inherently SBTC has the advantage because they can stall it out with...
This is a real base race, by the way.
Oh, no.
And they're sending Glory back. I think...
That's much better for the side of BTS because they have actual waves.
They have Tristana. No, they have Tristana as well. Okay, they're backing off. They're not actually... They have Tristana. I think comp-wise, they win the base race, but it's a massive Jinx. So the items do matter. So it's going to be an inhib for either team. But SBTC got a Nexus Tower as well. But the one Nexus Tower is, it doesn't actually do much.
It does mean gold. It does mean that the super minion pressure is a lot more, though, because they don't have 2 turrets cutting through them. And BTS, because they were on the top side, they're first to the Baron. And 𝘁𝑒𝑎𝑟𝑜s in such a good place.
Ooh, this is going to be the Baron fight to end the game, and there it is. Get the buffs. 𝘁𝗀𝗆𝘆 hurdle, and 𝘁𝑎𝑏𝘁𝗀𝘆 will be the last to. There it is. Lane claiming game 1. It was messy.
It's going so well. It's going so well until it wasn't. And now that's game 1. That all off the back of that Baron call. 𝘁𝑟𝑖 just getting completely chunked out by the Baron. Oh, I don't know. I don't know what went wrong there.
Did my mic break? What happened?
What?
Oh, people in chat are saying my mic broke.
Oh yeah, you were sort of cutting in and out for that last for the Nexus call. So I wasn't sure when I was coming in. I just saw you not talking on camera. I was like, oh, I'm talking now.
God, I'm sorry. Discord's really weird for me. It never lights up green, so I don't know if I'm just like 50% of the time I am. Anyway, that was a good early game out of BTS. 𝘁𝗀𝘆 started off really well. They just weren't able to translate it over.
Yeah. So it's good signs for BTS. It means that, look, their top laner is already a massive improvement from this one game, it feels like. So we're going to have to see how they can come back into game 2.
Yeah, and we should be ready to go to a break now. We'll be back in about 10 minutes to bring you game 2 of BTS taking on SBC. Will the chickens soar or will their wings plucked? We'll find out soon. Don't go anywhere.
beside yourself, choking on tears, and you aced avoid impossibility when you placed your bets on bittersweet. Now don't you worry, no need to be sorry, time to step lightly. 'Cause the love you used to feel still there inside. It may be a faded photograph, but I know you care. So don't hide if you're scared, I'm here beside you. If you get lost, I'm here to guide you. And I'll give you peace when peace is fragile. Love is all the good in you. Love is peace when peace is fragile. You've been going out of way to agree, like you've been rubbing yourself all wrong just to be somebody else's genie, catering to your disasters every need, waiting to finally be set free. I said, baby, don't worry, life will carry, just take it slowly. 'Cause the love you used to feel still there inside. It may be a faded photograph, but I know you care. So don't hide if you're scared, I'm here beside you. If you get lost, I'm here to guide you. And I'll give you peace when peace is fragile. Love is all the good in you. Love is peace when peace is fragile. Faded photograph, but I know you care. So don't hide if you're scared, I'm here beside you. If you get lost, I'm here to guide you. And I'll give you peace when peace is fragile. Love is all the good in you. Love is peace when peace is fragile.
Child in Valorant has heard the tale before about the cursed mommy boy who felt his heart no more. So sad and lorn, the helpless lad, Amumu was his name. He ventured out to find a friend and learn about his bane. 𝘀𝗻 traveled through the land.
Welcome back, everybody. It's game 2 of BTS taking on SBTC. Welcome back to the VCS English Analyst Desk, sponsored by no one. We don't make money. Anyway, it is 𝘁𝗶𝗶𝗹𝘀 and Rebel here with me. Rebel, what was your take on the first game?
I was pretty impressed by BTS as a whole. Ryuk in the top lane had a good laning phase. They found ways to attack. It felt like they found these weird off-tempo plays that were costing them a fair amount. It took a good amount of also solid play from the side of SBTC esports to find these openings where they were able to make plays happen, especially 𝘁𝗫, who was doing really well in the Syndra. Much to my dismay, because I hate that champion more than anything in existence. But really, really good stuff from SBTC to take the first series, but very, very enlightening and very a lot to work on, I think, for the side of BTS in game number 1, and a lot to build on, certainly.
Yeah. I think the main things to take away are SBTC are just looking like a stronger team in terms of actually macro decisions this time around, which is not what I would have generally expected from them. Looking at their games earlier, but something's changed. Maybe the signing of Venus has really just given them an extra pair of eyes to look in and say, this is how you should actually sort of make moves around the map. Their vision is a lot better. Their decision making in terms of turret priorities and getting those plate golds and not overcommitting for top lane plays like BTS kind of did this time. This game was very, very good to see from them.
Yeah, for sure. But let's talk a little bit more about BTS. In terms of Ryuk, yeah, I think he was fine. I don't think you can judge a player off how they play Karma top, though.
Yes, you can.
I was saying in the break, you could put me in a professional game on Karma top, and I'd probably not die in lane. Like, it's pretty easy. He was good. Like, he was fine. I want to see him play something that's maybe takes a little bit more brain power in the next game, though. 𝘁𝗶𝘆𝘀, though, played well. Rebel must be happy.
Exceptionally, yeah. 𝘁𝗶𝘆𝘀, when I first came in last year, especially during the winter, I think it was very early on. He was substituting in randomly for Percent Esports. They'd use him as like a pitch hitter whenever they wanted to pick like Graves or something really aggressive, and he would make these way overbearing plays. His pathing was uninspiring whatsoever. He was getting punished left and right, and when he overextended, he just got killed, and there was nothing you could do. The level that he has risen to in that amount of time is miraculous, and I like just seeing his growth as a player from those like very short spurts of really inspirational play during his time as like that substitute in for Percent Esports. It's immaculate. It's the reason why I'm the founding member of the 𝘁𝗁𝗏 fan club.
One day someone else will join as we do head into the second champion select. Sorry, I'm already in the Lilia fan club. I can only mean one.
That's fair.
SBTC over on the blue side. BTS, I assume, are losing another ban. I think they lose it in all of their games today. Again, they were late to the stage. It's just how it happened. It's just one ban. That's not a big deal. It's not like when 𝘁𝗏 lost 3. Where would we like to see the draft go this time, 𝘁𝗶𝗶𝗹𝘀?
I think for the most part with BTS, you can look to do sort of a similar ban strategy. You're really lucky that SBTC has banned the Seraphine for you, so you only have to worry too much about the 𝘀, maybe the 𝘁𝗫 if you want. You could also try and set up that sort of trade 𝘀 for 𝘁𝗫 if you wanted, but they choose to ban the Camille, which is fair. Looking more holistically, maybe you're looking to try and save the... Okay, SBTC are just playing charity today. Just charity from SBTC.
Yeah.
Giving up, banning 𝘀.
I mean, 𝘀 is... yeah, that is very kind. I think it just gets third banned. I don't hate it. I think they can just go back to just, first pick Thresh as they have. They just pick Jinx. Again, why not? Worked once, it'll work twice.
Yes. Yeah, so BCS could easily just lock in their jungler of choice. It's going to be the Hecarim, not the 𝘁𝗫. And then maybe look for their own preferred ADC. Maybe they look to sort of take away the Jinx. I reckon most likely to be a Tristana. Not that. That would be bad. Thank you. Do not like. Do not appreciate the big
I
car.
don't. No, I actually look. You have an irrational hatred towards 𝘁cie, and don't get me wrong. I sympathize, but I actually don't mind this pick. It goes in with the 𝗁𝗂𝗋. It's this time they'll play more aggressive. Tristana was struggling to deal her damage. 𝘁cie can go in.
Tristana goes in with the 𝗁𝗂𝗋.
Not as well.
He
as
has
𝘁cie.
W.
Not as well as 𝘁cie.
I disagree. I think Tristana's a little bit better at picking her opportunity to go in because she can actually do damage from a distance as well. She doesn't have to get in the middle of it to do damage, but it also opens up the flex pick of the century,
Yeah.
Tristana.
Where is that going on SBTC?
Great question.
That's a really difficult question as well. As, yeah, Dia1 has played a lot of Tristana over time. Rakan. Okay. What do you think, Rakan? Yeah, not very useful. I'm not sure about Rakan there. Why? What does he do?
I think so. Like, here's what Rakan is right now. If you want the actual answer, Rakan is a budget rel. Like anything that rel does, like Rakan can also do, just worse for the most part. He's also a lot more mobile with that E instead of having like a lot of lack of mobility. Like the W stands for removing a good amount of your mobility in terms of Drakthar. And in this case, like you could match the dive potential with the 𝗁𝗂𝗋. I think more importantly is like Rakan is not good into Thresh. But Thresh is also not good into Rakan, which is really helpful. And also your W is actually a pretty good tool. It's relatively simple to try to get a knock-up into Tristana because of the delay on it. So, like, I don't hate Rakan here. It's not as good as Rel, and I think there are other supports that are even better in this particular case if you want to get aggressive or defensive. But this is kind of just like a stopgap where it's like there's nothing wrong with this pick intrinsically other than maybe the strength of the champion just not being good.
So they definitely read that. I mean, they have no idea where that Tristana's going. They removed the Jinx, they removed the Yasuo. Yasuo, an interesting band. I think that's just, well, they're denying Gragas Yasuo. That's why. But I'm not sure if I think they just honestly don't know what to ban because they can't read anything. The only thing they know for sure is Thresh support. Tristana and Gragas are both flexible. And people out there that maybe haven't watched a huge amount of VCS, yes, this Tristana is a flex. Trust me.
I mean, Tristana is definitely a flex in other regions as well.
It's
but
more
I
of
think,
a flex here because it's Dia1.
I think you can 100% say that it's a Gragas jungle because I don't think they're putting Zeros on Gragas.
They still could.
I see that. Yeah, there's an argument to be made. I was going to make the joke that like Tristana actually is very flexible into the bottom lane because Dia1 plays it so much instead of it being a mid lane flex or something like that sort. If I recall also, when I first stepped in, 𝘁𝑚𝑒 was like a really good Azir player, so I really like Blind Azir here. This is like the perfect position to take control mages is at this like R4. Now, okay, this is not helped us at all.
SBTC is like they're doing gymnastics. Imagine if they pick like
it guarantees. I mean,
like how?
They're gymnasts.
They really
BTS they don't get to counterpick because 4 of these champions are flexible. I suppose we can now say it's going to be bot lane Tristana because nothing else can really go to the bot lane.
Yep.
Yeah,
we can say bot lane
But they've still got
Tristana,
three
like jungle Gragas.
It's probably
it has to be jungle Gragas.
The other two can't.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I
don't think we see Zeros play anything except Irelia here. I think this has got to be Dia1 and Celebrity just in the bottom lane with the likes of the Tristana.
I actually think the Jace will go top. So far, when they picked the Jace this split, it's been going to Zeros.
BTS seems to think that the Irelia is going top because that's why you picked the Wukong.
Yeah.
The Wukong pick isn't actually that bad into either of these matchups. I almost would have. That said, I would have rather maybe seen a Sion, or I mean, I mostly just want to see this region pick bloody Sion, but
it's a team with Dia1 and Zeros. You really want to see a Sion on
this team? Is BTS gonna do their swaps?
Nope.
Okay.
No,
Past 20 seconds. Okay, they're slowly doing them.
I think something might have bugged out for them, but yeah. Everything's good. Could have been a spectator bug.
It is going to be the Irelia top, so the Jace will be going to the mid lane. It makes sense against the Azir, and as you were saying, Glory definitely has some very good moments on Azir, particularly from last split when they were still percent. He's played it once or twice this split though, and he's been a little bit underwhelming. So I don't hate the pick, but I'm a little bit worried for BTS.
This is a composition that could roll really easily for 𝘂𝘂𝘁𝘂. Just because, I mean, like, DL1's on super good comfort, you've got Tristana, you've got Irelia. If Yijin accomplishes anything in this early game, this map goes to hell really quickly for Team BTS. They had to put a lot of work in, and like Drakthar has to attack again. Also, we get our chance to see the Wukong top lane into an actual matchup. So Ryuk actually gets a test of skill this time.
Yeah, it's very, very true. I am happy to see that. So Rebel, give us your final word and who is taking game 2.
I said 2-1 because 𝘂𝘂𝘁𝘂 won game 1. I have to predict 𝘂𝘂𝘁𝘂 for this one, so BTS takes this game.
Interesting theory on how predictions work. But we'll talk to you again either after this game or before the next one.
Someone read the script.
No,
Drakthar
spots them. They just pull back.
Yeah, no, not going to catch them on the way over, so just a bit of a peek in. Not actually going to drop that ward, so Yijin holding onto that, maybe looking to sneak his way down and drop something onto the bot side. Or not, maybe just keeping it to himself. But we're just going to see a bit of a mirrored matchup. Both teams starting on red. It's really rough here if you're Drakthar this time around, because you don't exactly have much in the way of lane pressure to work with. Okay, so he's actually going down to the bot side so he can make something happen with his one lane that is guaranteed to be winning off the bat, and that should be this Wukong. Definitely has the stronger early levels, and the level 1 especially, and has this forward position, so looking to do something to 𝘂𝘂𝘁, I think. Yeah.
Oh, and 𝘂𝘂𝘁 missing the flawless duet there. Doesn't quite manage to land it, so Ryuk definitely in a stronger position here at level 1 on the Monkey. And of course, you and I very happy to see Monkey doing well.
Yeah, we got another boy in the Kong squad up here with Ryuk. I'm very happy to see that. Look,
this is a little dangerous. 𝘂𝘂 lands Ignite as well, but Celebrity's already exhausted, so can't go forward. But still, good play out of 𝘂𝘂𝘁𝘂𝘁.
Yeah, and we're seeing this. I mean, they're both sort of double-ranged bot lanes, because Rakan and Thresh both sit in that sort of not quite ranged
spicy
situation.
melee.
But yeah, spicy melee. But one is more spicy, the other's more melee, and that is the Thresh who has the extra range in this matchup, and so does the Tristana. So they have all the control in the world. Sijin just sort of poking his head in, saying hello, saying like, "How you doing, everybody? I'm here for just take 𝘂𝘂𝘁𝘂𝘁𝘂𝘁."
𝘂𝘂𝘁 getting a good trade here onto Ryuk. He has to flash away. Well played there out of 𝘂𝘂𝘁, utilizing that Irelia passive. Yijin's going to go for an invade, steals away the Krug.
Yeah, utilizing that early level 3 and that lane, and then Yijin utilizing that lane pressure 𝘂𝘂𝘁 just built for himself to be aggressive and take the fight to Drakthar.
Duet lands, Ryuk cannot answer. Yeah, Yijin's in some trouble, trying to get away, flashes the wall, but Drakthar, he's pretty quick once that E comes up. Will there be a belly bop in time? There's a slow. Azir's on the walk as well, turning it around, doing some damage. 𝘂𝘂𝘁 still incredibly threatening, but over the wall goes the Hail of Blades Azir, and now 𝘂𝘂𝘁 is regretting his entire life. DL1 is reporting his team, and it's all gone wrong for 𝘂𝘂𝘁𝘂𝘁.
Be careful, dear might be fishing for a shock blast. Oh no, we got it!
Prediction! The script has been read! Monkey down! Monkey down!
He doesn't have Master Yulwei to save him this time. He just gets poked out of the air, shot from a mile away by the hunter. Oh man, Tarzan is not going to be happy about that one. So, in the end, it's a 2-for-1 with first blood going over to 𝘁𝗀𝘆𝘀 actually. So that's going to ramp up the mid lane to do very well. He's going to get to his 𝘂𝐻𝑎𝑠ℎ tooth extremely quickly. And here it looks really bad for BTS, but it's actually just 𝘁𝗀𝘆 winning the 1v1 on the bottom half, and then Yijin is on the wrong side, so he has to flash over. 𝘁𝑺y
Yijin flashing the wall with the int. Flash to 𝘂𝑺.
Yeah, that was kind of not great, but it's actually a really good call from 𝘁𝑺y, sacrificing sort of the wave pressure because he doesn't have that wave push. He may have ended up.
The brakes don't ever come on the VCS train. Ryuk is currently being dived. Yijin doing a good job tanking, but the monkey decoy will get him away.
Very good out of
Ryuk. Fight
Ryuk.
for another day. Yeah, playing that one about as well as he could.
Yeah, and just to finish my point, 𝘁𝑺y going to help his team, being a bit selfless. If they don't get anything out of that, he probably loses a massive wave to the tower and gets set farther behind. But it worked out extremely well for them. And we're seeing Yijin. He's trying his best to make things happen on the top side. And now it's Dia's turn.
Yeah, Dia's here. Ryuk should have access to the decoy. This was a really early teleport. The lane is not in a position to dive here.
No.
I don't think Dia misses much, but
no. It's one where if 𝘁𝗀𝘆 wasn't in that spot already, they could have just sit there and bided their time and made the call for a bit of harassment.
𝘁𝗀𝘆 staying here is really crucial.
𝘂𝗧ros
wanted to go for the solo kill because of the chunk out. He will actually trade it back, doing well there. But it's a 1-for-1. BTS do come out ahead in that play. Good thing that 𝘁𝗀𝘆 was there, or 𝘂𝑺 just kills him. But still, not a good start for both of the top laners, really.
Yeah, 1 and 2 apiece. But while all this action on the top side has been happening, BTS has just slowly been hemorrhaging gold in the bot lane because they do not have the range to contest Celebrity and Slay, and it only gets worse as time goes on. They still haven't got level 6, so they can't make the all-in play. And it's just going to be 2 turret plates down, about 20 CS lead. And the spot lane is a good chunk of what's keeping 𝘂𝑺 close in the gold, because this mid lane is very far ahead, and actually the mid jungle is actually all the lead on BTS, because top lane is also very heavily in the favor of 𝘂𝑺 after the amount of times Ryuk has been ganked.
Yeah, so the flawless duet missed there for 𝘂𝑺. I actually think he gets the kill very cleanly if that lands, but doesn't quite do it. But the little bit of extra damage from the corrupting pot, I assume it was corrupting pot.
Not corrupting pot, minions.
Oh, was it minions? Okay, it doesn't have a corrupting pot, so
yeah, the push dragged speed from 𝘁𝗀𝘆 dragged them into the blue minions, and that ended up working against BTS there. But just gonna see a little bit of a fight. Don't want Yijin getting that blue buff steal. But
yeah, they do force him off, but continued pressure out of the 𝘂𝑇C bot lane. Doing well. And so far, I'm curious where 𝘁𝑺y goes. I'm not sure if he goes for 𝘂𝐻𝑎𝑠 with Halo Blades.
Yeah, no, that is definitely a fair call. You get a lot more burst out just going straight into your either your Ludens or your.
Okay, never mind. He's okay.
If you whip, you get hit hard. It sucks. But now both top laners have their ultimates. Both approaching level 7. 𝘂𝑺 having a very big CS experience, having an experienced lead is very crucial to him being able to continue to win this solo matchup. It's just a matter of he's got
there's the cyclone coming out. Another miss on the flawless duet. These are really flawed duets. I wouldn't watch this concert. 𝘂𝑺 having to flash away. Very poorly played there, and very well played by the young gun of 𝘂𝘂𝗍.
Yeah, definitely a bit of a Elton John 𝘂𝗍𝗍 duet, because that is not something you like listening to. There's actually nothing wrong with that song. I just felt like throwing shit.
I liked it. Anyway, 𝘀𝘀𝗺 now rotating up. They might think about the dive, but Yijin is here, and the Cyclone's not available.
It's just an escort into tower. With how much pressure Yijin's kept on this top side, it's a reasonable assumption. And look, it's going to pay off.
Yeah, he's in a lot of trouble. The hook is landing 𝘁cie, the absolute MVP right now, saving the jungler. But with Glory here, this is a blue buff that BTS will be walking away with. Oh, never mind. They actually can't commit. Yep.
The top side.
Too many members for SBTC. Yijin has to play it careful. The decoy works for now, and they do manage to disengage safely. 𝘁cie with a very, very well-timed rotation.
Yeah, 𝘁cie's rotation ends up making that whole play go for the favor of SBTC, because 𝘂𝑎𝑟𝑜𝑠 gets to chuck in another wave that keeps his CS lead up. He's knocked down a plate on that top side. He's doing very well for himself, and that we're gonna need to see these. We're gonna need to see the gold totals soon, because I really want to see the matchups individually, because this jungle gap is insane. But that's gonna be most of the gold lead for BTS. It really has to be. 30 CS, 3 assists.
Yeah,
it's very strong 𝗂𝗏𝗀𝗀.
It is once again 𝘀𝘀𝗺 playing well on the 𝘂𝗀𝗀 2 games in a row now. Not quite as dominant in the early game as game 1, but is doing very well so far in game 2 as well. 𝘂𝑎𝑟𝑜𝑠 definitely needs to clean the play up as well. He has a big CS lead, but 𝘂𝘂𝗍 is still winning trades, just down to misexecution on the Irelia. And once again, there is a fight, and this time the Vanguard's edge is used. They're charging for 𝘂𝘂𝗍, very low, and he will not be saved. It's a preview of Godzilla vs Kong as Kong goes down, and 𝘂𝑎𝑟𝑜𝑠 looking much, much better that time.
So Irelia is the giant lizard.
Sure.
That's what I took from that. Okay, but 𝘂𝑎𝑟𝑜𝑠 here's you comes back in and just bullies. You can't miss that flawless duet, really. And then just the spread of the ultimate means that 𝘂𝘂𝗍 still gets hit despite using the clone to try and block it. And that's just an easy rundown for 𝘂𝑎𝑟𝑜𝑠. That's going to be another kill. That's going to be a much further lead. And 𝘂𝘂𝗍, despite the hopes that from game 1, he's struggling quite a lot up against 𝘂𝑎𝑟𝑜𝑠, who has turned it on in this matchup.
Yeah, doing really, really well there. It was just the monkey not realizing that when everything hits from the Irelia, he doesn't win that. So 𝘂𝘂𝗍 definitely looking a bit nervous. You can see the rookiness, I guess. Rookiness, is that a word? On display. Hopefully he can stabilize and still be a big part of the team fight. BTS is going to need it if they want to take this to a game 3.
Yeah, and I think it's going to involve a lot of 𝘀𝘀𝗺 changing strategy. He spent a lot of time on the top side covering for 𝘂𝘂𝗍. He should be looking to try and work together with this Rakan and 𝘁𝗍𝗍 to punish this bot lane of SBTC, because as it is, 2 losing side lanes for BTS means that this mid pressure that Glory is able to put out isn't actually going to work too much. Getting this Rift Tower down will open up the middle of the map.
No. It's a freeze. I'm not sure. He actually might have just... No, he just broke it. He actually just broke it. He was setting a freeze up. It broke right as I mentioned it. Of course it did. It's just going to crash into the tower now. The bot lane has actually gotten better for BTS. That CS lead did not grow, and it was still only the 2 tower plates. So once 𝘁𝑎𝑟𝑜𝑠 went a wandering, Celebrity was not able to inflate the lead, so a good stabilization there. But this top lane is becoming an issue.
Yeah, and Yijin here at the right time just to punish. But
a hook coming in, but 𝘀𝘀𝗺 still a little bit too spooky. 𝘁cie playing very, very well so far. Has been massively playing spoiler to BTS.
Yeah, his hooks have been on point, and just Yijin, though he's individually not getting a lot of gold for himself, he's really nullifying the effect 𝘀𝘀𝘀 is able to have this game. And not another hook. That's a dead. Not a dead Elliot though.
Nope.
Not
enough damage out of shot.
Very early buster shot.
Yeah, it was. I'm not sure how I feel about that one, but I don't know if they had quite the damage to kill the Rakan anyway. Did have flash as well, but anyway, not the best play out of Tristana. The mid lane, 𝘂𝗏 still very upset by the fact that 𝘁𝑚 has 2 kills that he didn't cause. Desperately trying to clear the wave. 𝘁cie is here once again, here to help the team out, make sure that that tower survives a little bit longer. Gives SBTC a chance to force first brick, but that should fall in a wave or two.
Yeah, and I think it's going to come down to a bit of a race there, but it should actually go into the favor of BTS just because of the amount of pressure that
Ooh.
Oh, never mind.
It's all right. It's just he's just dashing about.
Yeah. But because of the amount of pressure that 𝘁𝑚 is able to put out, the wave clear from 𝘂𝗏 isn't quite fast enough yet. Plus, 𝘁�cie being out of this bot lane a bit more means the shove isn't as safe for Celebrity. So I think BTS will end up with that first brick. It's just a matter of, can 𝘀𝘀𝘀 do anything right now? He's picked up his chem tank, so and some pans for himself, so he's going to be quite fast now.
Which pair of legs do you reckon he wears them on?
Well, it's really rough, right? Because he's gonna put them on, and then I assume this pair is gonna be on his front legs, so that way they don't have to move as far when they turn into the shoulder plates.
Oh, that makes sense.
When it comes to the force of nature, probably the same thing because it's going to his torso.
There's a catch out, but a good flay again. 𝘁cie playing so well on this Thresh, saving Celebrity's life. Didn't even have to flash. 𝘁cie MVP.
Yeah, 𝘀𝘀𝘀 not wanting to commit the ultimate because of the potential
Yijin LVP. My word, what were you doing there? He has to go gold, and 𝘂𝗏 is caught out, flashing away. Can he get over to 𝘁cie? He can. The lantern's there, and 𝘁cie saves another. But Yijin, that was just very silly.
Yeah, Yijin really giving BTS a bit of a lead, some life here. It's going to end up being a lost apparently not.
Okay,
but yeah,
Celebrity goes down. The lantern could not be clicked in time. 𝘁cie retreating to his tower. Ryuk ignited, did use the cyclone. So Thresh will get away, but 2 kills for BTS, and they should be able to turn it into a dragon as well. They win out pretty hard on that passage of play.
Yeah, I think, and then with that kill going down, they should have enough to break the tower. Probably, maybe not, because they haven't actually had any chance to hit it all game. But first brick to BTS, they pick up that second dragon. That's a bit of a swing going back to them, but Ryuk's teleport not getting him anything. That just means that the top lane is further in the hole, and that Irelia is getting scarier.
Certainly is. As we have a little bit of a replay. Sorry, production, they really screwed you there. Yeah, it's all right. I hope you're handling it. We did just see, it was just a W landed into Big Coral ulting forward. That's just the power of the 𝘁𝑐E. Celebrity, bit silly being that far ahead.
He wasn't able to get back to his minions. 𝘁�cie was next to him, so he felt relatively safe, but where he walked after getting hit by the W meant the full Q just entered his body, and that's a lot of damage. The best play against 𝘁𝑐E is to stand near other targets so the Q gets a little bit confused.
Yeah. But anyway, let's take a think about the game as a whole. We don't know how long this pause is going to be, but we'll see. There was 2 pauses quickly, so there might be something a little bit wrong. Hopefully it gets fixed up. But I think BTS is doing pretty well at the moment. They're sort of winning. They're winning 3/4 of the map, but they're really losing that one. And we're back in game, so it's all good.
I have to say that's not the case at all. BTS are winning the mid jungle. The bot lane is still, despite that kill,
Bot lane's
heavily
even.
SBTC
True,
favored.
true.
And it's going to be even less.
𝘁cie𝗱𝗆𝘀𝘀. Yep, 𝘳𝗏 is here. The flawless duet lands. Glory arrives, but it doesn't matter. 𝗚𝗏𝘄 flashes on forward, but now 𝘁𝗏𝘺 enters the fray. The pony doing well. 𝘁 goes down. And it's 2 kills for 1 and a shutdown for Glory.
𝘂𝗏's trying his best to bully his former teammate in 𝘁𝗀𝗆, but Glory arrives in time, and so does 𝘁𝗏𝘺, because it got really close there. 𝘂𝗏's almost got away with 2 kills. That's going to be a big shutdown for Glory, and big kill, another tower as well. This Azir is going to be their big carry coming into the rest of this game. It's all on, I think, 𝘂𝗏's versus Glory. That's going to be the big key matchup to look at as this game progresses. Celebrity and 𝘁𝗀𝗆 are going to be playing second fiddle, and Diaz, it's already approaching 20 minutes. Diaz kind of missed his opportunity to get things really rolling on this Jace pick.
Yeah, he still will play a valuable role chunking people out for 𝘂𝗏, but definitely not fed enough to be the primary carry himself. Ryuk is definitely going to be relegated to being a bit of a Beyblade in this game. He just kind of needs to spin and knock people up and probably die. But if he gets enough knock-ups, maybe it's okay. Let's have a look at this replay.
Yeah, just lots of early damage onto 𝘁, but 𝘁𝗀𝗆 kind of jukes the wrong way towards the tower, and Glory
What was that animation?
I do not know.
Was that just was that the 𝘁cie𝗰𝗆 just freaking out? It looked like it was a 𝘁cie𝗰𝗆.
May have been.
But it was a big swing over towards BTS, and they're actually in a pretty dominant position, at least for now. They have to still dodge 𝘂𝗏, as he is a terrifying 𝘂𝗏𝘄, has that Blade of the Ruin King and the Hearthbound Axe, well on his way to the Trinity Force.
He's even got and he's got the Kindle Gem as well to round it out. He's really just looking for that 300 gold combine. But at this, it feels bad, and you never want to sort of go for this on the other side of the map. But if you're Ryuk, you're almost wishing you'd just build to Frozen Fist, because that you're better off being tanky. This Divine Sunder isn't going to be super helpful to you in this matchup.
I think you have to be a damage threat is the thing. I think you have to build like this, even if you're never going to be the one win the 1v1. You have to at least threaten Celebrity.
Yeah, no.
It
you
is
definitely
rough
need at
for
least the
you,
Divine Sunder, realistically.
Yeah.
Definitely the Sunder at least, because the penetration on that Mythic passive is just so important for your ultimate. But you feel very useless at this point in the
I mean, he's on his way to getting Flame Horizon. He should feel useless. Ryuk played fine on the Karma top, has played considerably less good on the Wukong. Unfortunate stuff for the rookie. Was not an easy debut up against 𝘂𝗏, of course.
No, definitely not.
The Herald is summoned up. It's just going to deal some damage to mid.
Yeah, and actually, their positioning is very good here for SBTC. That minion wave coming does make that.
Getting very chunked there. A little bit silly. 𝘁𝗏𝘺 looking for a way in, doing it well. 𝘁𝗏𝗄 dancing around the back of the fight. 𝘂𝗏 has thrown this a little bit. He can't pick up any kills. 2 for 2 at the moment. There's a big barrel though. Celebrity now. It's all his chance. He can't get anything done. The tower is still up. And SBTC, they are a sloppy team sometimes.
Down.
Might be Baron. Yeah.
Conworth. Yeah, they definitely have enough damage to do it. They've got 2 decent AD threats and Glory, which is basically another ADC, but AP. He is going to do so much more. He's going to burn through this. And
Yujin is alive. Oh no, I can smell the steel.
Uh-oh.
It's going to happen.
Glory,
I can smell
Glory
it. Oh no, they've done well.
He's
Okay, good job. Ooh.
Good recognition from Glory. They sense it coming. They had that small wall over the ward, so they knew exactly where he was. Diaz we get a little bit of Diaz saying hello, and 𝘂𝗏 really overcommits, takes so much damage early, and it's a very, very messy fight. 𝘂𝘃 does a lot of damage at being able to completely clean up Big Koro regardless, but here Celebrity ends up being caught on the wrong side and in between a tower and a monkey, and the monkey ends up beating him to death. And so, surprisingly, a lot of that fight didn't really seem to involve 𝘁�UE all that much, which is not a great sign, because 𝘁�UE should be most of the damage for BTS, but because of how scattered the fight was and how much damage 𝘂𝑎s took initially, 𝘁�UE didn't have to do that much. He managed to keep his ult the entire time and was able to use it on Yujin, going for that steal.
And this was, I mean, I just don't understand what 𝘂𝑎s did there, tanking the tower. Like, just why did you take 3 tower shots? You're all of your team's gold. I don't get it. But let's not dwell on it any longer. My frustration is not very important, as it was a dragon secured there for BTS, moving them to their second stack. Still quite some ways away from Seoul, of course, but they are in full control of the game at the moment. 𝘁�UE is incredibly scary on this 𝘂𝑎s. Demonic Embrace, not second item, sorry, but has been picked up. A very tanky bird, relative to normal, but I kind of like it. He has to dive in to try and get those big shuffles, and has to be very scared of 𝘂𝑎s. 𝘁𝗏𝗺 threatening, but Celebrity backs away, and that's going to be a tower.
The amount of AoE damage. Yeah, the amount of AoE damage 𝘁�UE has means that he should be able to pick up those stacks very easily, get them on all 5 members. So he will get a good amount of value out of the extra armor and magic resist. Plus, he has to worry about, 𝘂𝑎s diving in, Celebrity diving in, and looking for these sort of assassinations. So it's a somewhat interesting build, but it's a very, very good decision making from 𝘁�UE. Reading the items and making decisions based on the game state instead of just autopiloting, which is good to see. I like it when they stop autopiloting.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not 100% sure if I agree with the decision, but the lack of autopilot I definitely enjoy, as they are desperately trying to clear waves here in this mid lane. It will be another tower over to BTS. Only base structures now standing for SBTC. This is looking very good here for BTS. Will they win? It's looking fairly likely.
Yeah, we've still got a few minutes until the next objective, so we may just see a bit of farming back and forth. This turret, the Sundisk in the mid lane, is gonna fall down very shortly, but it's for the meantime it's gonna keep SBTC held back a little bit, and all the vision in the jungle leading up towards Baron, and that one in that bendy brush next to a red buff. That means that BTS should have full information, or at least nearly full information, on what SBTC are looking to do in these next few moments. If they try and set anything up, they should be caught out, and no fight should be happening for another 2 minutes.
Yeah, and it's difficult to say who that really suits, because Irelia is going to get scarier and scarier, but so is 𝘂𝑎s. Probably in the end it does favour the 𝘂𝑎s, but Celebrity is also a factor, as he does now have 2.5 items to the 3 items of 𝘁𝑎𝗆. Turns out Team Gold pretty good at swinging the ADC matchup, which we've not been talking much about, as they have been quiet.
No, and we've been harping on the mid lane and top lane matchups, and we're seeing such a disparity, especially, I think, more so in the mid lane, which is really something to see, because we have spent the last couple of weeks being quite harsh with 𝘁�UE, as the barrel is just going to be...
Oh, Tier 1 taking a lot of damage there from Big Koro, and this base tower is not going to stand.
Nope, that's very, very good. And Tier 1, he's been a big point of weakness this game in particular. He is only on an Eclipse and a Mana Muna. He hasn't even fully upgraded that into the Romana, so he is on basically 1.5 items. I guess you could say 2 with that extra serrated Dirk, compared to 4 for Glory, and that is insane. The Glory is almost full build. He's got that extra stopwatch, so you can, Sonya's twice in a fight, because that's a thing you're allowed to do.
It is a thing you're allowed to do.
Shouldn't
Yeah, not disagreeing, but it is available for now. So the next fight, Glory will definitely be wanting it to be a decisive one if he does use that stopwatch, as the dragon is spawning. SBTC not obligated to fight this one. I think they will just continue to try and get some gold into their weaker members. It's just one more stack of the Ocean Drake. It'll be the 4th one that really matters, as Baron spawns as well, and 𝘁𝗏𝗺's already there.
Yeah, I really like
that vision.
I really like the allocation of resources. They're only sending Glory down to the dragon, because if SBTC did decide to rush, sure, you'd be
SBTC
at a massive
needs to be
disadvantage without Glory.
Actually on the Baron. Like,
No, babe. They're finally
going
coming
down
to...
extremely fast. Yijin
Big
is here. Can he get in? 𝘁𝗏𝗺's just going to go in. That's a big barrel, splitting the fight open. A lot of damage being dealt to the 𝘁𝗄𝗏. That's 1, that's 2. And it could be the return of the chicken. 𝘁𝗏𝗺s into the back line, getting a lot of shielding, but he does fall.
Glory.
So much damage now removed. Glory still full health. Celebrity has to desperately kite. Hops over the wall. Yijin on about 1 HP. 3v3 at the moment, but it goes to 3v2. Double kill for 𝘂𝗋𝗋. And it might have stopped the Baron, but it did not stop 𝘁𝗏𝗋.
So close for SBTC. 𝘁𝗍 played out that disengage beautifully, completely denying 𝘁𝗏𝗺 and 𝘂𝗋𝗋, and they end up paying the price, but SBTC can't capitalize. They cannot kill the Emperor, and Glory just makes them pay for their treason, and Celebrity just getting chunked out there by the Halo Blades. It is.
Doesn't actually get a huge amount done, though. They chunked Celebrity, but that inhibitor was already gone. They don't get any Nexus towers, so BTS not quite as strong as they thought they were at the back there. But Glory, my word, the Sun Disc has counted down. He's ascended.
Yeah,
This
and
is
now they're teleporting in.
𝘁𝗏𝗋 the motion
Go for the
picture.
Baron again.
Yeah, why not? Just do it again. Run it straight back. This time, don't int the start of the fight. Yijin has to try and find a steal, but can't do that. Baron has fallen before the might of the Emperor, and BTS are in full control at 30 minutes. Yijin, hey, who wins in a race? Fat bloke or a horse?
Is there chicken involved? Wait. Yes, there is. It's SBTC.
I don't think it matters.
But turns out, Zia is the more important chicken, and ends up taking over the fight. But yet, Yijin gets caught back on his way back to base, and now that's 2 open inhibitors. They have a wave of with super minions. They have the Baron buff. This is very much likely the game.
Yeah, it's 100% the game. It is going to be BTS. As always, they get 1 game at least in a series, but with how Glory is playing, 2 is very, very possible. They take down the Nexus, and they will send us to a 3rd game.
Huge improvement from the mid jungle in this series compared to what we've seen in the previous weeks, and this is actually very exciting for the rest of their split prospects. Maybe they can end up taking this win. It would be huge for their season.
Yeah, it would be. SBTC, I still think playoffs is a little bit out of reach, but dodging relegations is very, very competitive at the moment. GLX, Flash, and BTS sort of the 3 we're looking at to fill out those bottom 2 spots. A win here would be absolutely huge for that race, and it would be a devastating blow for SBTC to lose. We'll be back in about 10 minutes to decide what could be a pivotal game. See you then.
you gonna do now? It's your reflection looking back to pull you down. So are you gonna die today or make it out alive? You gotta conquer the monster in your head and then you'll fly, fly, Phoenix fly. It's time for a new empire. Go bury your demons, then tear down the ceiling, Phoenix fly. And now you're playing with matches.
Welcome back, everybody. A game 3 that 2 out of the 3 on our desk predicted. Let's not talk about who it wasn't. No need to bring that up, as it was a good performance in the second game. BTS, led by the Emperor of Shurima, 𝘁cie, spread his wings and pulled them to the deciding game against SBTC. Rebel, welcome back to the desk. Whose wings will end up being broader, SBTC's or 𝘁ćie's ears?
That is a fantastic question. That was an immaculate game coming out from BTS. The one notch on it is just, again, they're kind of early laning phase in bot lane, and then of course in top lane, because that was a mess from �ryuk to start off the game. It's kind of tough, and Aurelia is way too busted of a champion. She needs nerfed into the ground yet again. But again, good things from 𝘁𝗀𝘀, great things from 𝘁cie in that game, despite some really solid performances from SBTC. They're making it look competitive. The team's looking a lot better than what we saw earlier on in the split. I'm loving the changes that they're making to their strategy. I'm loving the play that we're seeing out of some of their veterans as well.
Yeah, I certainly am. 𝘁𝗶𝗶𝗹𝘀, do you have any takes?
I think I'm very, very happy that 𝘁cie is finally showing up the potential that he put on display last season. He has spent a good chunk of this split not really showing up, besides on the 𝘁𝗀e, of course, and then they've just never picked him 𝘁𝗀e, but now he's actually playing well. He put up a decent game on the Victor. He put up an excellent game on Azir, and hopefully he can keep this momentum going, because this BTS is something I'm very excited to see.
Yeah, I am too. 𝘁cie being back actually gives BTS a lot of hope. He has been a bit of a letdown so far this split, but hey, if he plays up to even half the standard of that game, suddenly they're making a real run for 5th and 6th and can definitely play spoiler to the top teams, even if they can't quite get there. But let's look at SBTC. How do they act? Because them losing this series is a huge blow for their split.
Yeah, it gives Cerberus and, more importantly, Team Secret a chance to sneak their way in and push SBTC down, and that's definitely not what you want with this sort of roster, the amount of money you've put into getting this team.
Rebel, what do you think?
I think really desperately they need to turn this into a bot lane game. I made mention before the series started that I think that these games can sometimes turn into like later games, and they're playing really heavily to top side. When that top side gets canceled out and there's not a really fed 𝘁cie, this game comes down to much more of the celebrity versus big 𝘁oro type game. And with the way that both celebrity, but I would say even more so 𝘁cie is playing right now, who's just on fire at the moment, playing every single possible outcome as best as he can. This is the best moment of 𝘁cie that I've seen for a very long time. I think it's in SBTC's best interest to play to this bottom side as fast as possible, whether that means putting resources there or just completely negating the remainder of the map. That's whatever it takes to get you onto that, because I think Celebrity and 𝘁cie are absolutely outperforming right now when it comes to BTS's bot lane.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely don't think you need to dedicate resources to the top lane as well. I think 𝘂𝗏 wins that 1v1. You just want to make it rather than letting 𝘁𝗀𝘀 sit up and help out the rookie. BTS, of course, I'll repeat it. This is the last time I'll have to. They lost a ban. They were late to the stage, so they didn't miss that by accident. They're not allowed to do that one.
Okay, and I think if on BTS, though, it may be worth looking towards picking up that or putting that Thresh onto the ban list instead of maybe this Renekton, because realistically, Renekton shouldn't be picked up too early by SBTC. It's not really been a go-to for 𝘂𝘃 to split regardless, but they're gonna stick with their guns. Maybe we see them look to first pick the Thresh.
Doubt it.
Maybe.
Does
I'm not
Yujin
sure.
Full steam ahead. Heckram again. Go,
I
go,
think
go,
this
go.
is-
Attack
Yeah,
has been
why
killed.
not? Yeah, just triple hecker him. Like,
Yeah!
why not?
Let's go.
My reasoning for that is I don't think Heckram's necessarily something Yujin's going to try and take away from you, so you could have picked it in the second or third rotation, but that is, they decide, yeah, Heckram. That's been working for them so far. 𝘃𝗃 has had excellent performances. It's just, yeah, Slay's gonna get that Thresh again, and he has been so good at denying what BTS has tried to do, so maybe they need to go for something a little less traditional in their engage, something that can get around the Flay. Like, I don't exactly know necessarily, but come on.
Is it finally happening?
Every time we hover it, I'm gonna.
They actually picked the Rakan.
They're just gonna run. They're just looking to run it back.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty good last game. I don't think the bot lane from BTS did a huge amount but I like keeping their solo lane picks secret, keeping them safe. The Hecarim for 𝘃𝗃, why not? Played really well in the first 2 games. Have a third.
I like Xayah quite a bit. There was like this really interesting like dichotomy with Xayah where at one point she was getting picked but she was really bad, and then the very next patch she was all of a sudden like the higher win rate of like 3 ADCs that were really popular, and it was kind of funny to watch that like stat come through.
Yeah. But
We've had our 2 games of what to play for. It's back to 𝘂𝗃.
Oh no! Come full circle. Oh, pain.
𝘂𝗃 once again. But look, it's better than 𝘁𝗃𝗃𝘀.
Is it?
Galio removed by SBTC. I wouldn't hate the 𝘂𝗃 ban, honestly.
No.
Don't let Glory roll his momentum.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think the Xayah pick actually works out a lot better for BTS because it means that you're not going to be smashed in lane quite as hard as before, as the last game. So 𝘂𝗃𝗃 and Glory will be very much capable of putting their foot down and saying, we know what we're doing. We can actually have control over the bot lane and force early dragons and things like that, but it does depend on the top lane matchup. You may see the Karma end up coming out again. It depends heavily on what 𝘂𝘃 goes for, or what SBTC as a whole goes for on this round 4 pick.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Orianna taken away as well. Glory still has access to the 𝘂𝗃. I wouldn't actually be surprised to see SBTC pick the 𝘂𝗃. Would go well with the composition so far. Dia1 is also very good on the champion. So, see where it goes. Will 𝘂𝘃 be receiving another ban? He certainly will. It's gone. Get your crabs going.
Ban 𝘂𝘃.
Yeah. I mean, after, Ryuk was bleeding out in the middle of the street after lane phase last game, they only barely got him to hospital. So, I think it makes sense, and I think this 𝘂𝗃 pick makes total sense as well.
Yeah, the takeaway from Glory, making sure not to give that one away. I know the Zoe was hovered for a second. I love that champion. Well, I don't love that champion, but I think the champion's exceptionally strong and dramatically underutilized everywhere, despite being one of the more popular mid laners. And if Glory can pilot that champion, that's definitely a pick that can work into the 𝘂𝗃, just because that bubble hurts so bad. Oh, man. Yar!
Oh, my arms. But after game 1
Who
performance,
are quiet? It paid teams to just pick Syndra over and over again.
hey, oh my god, please press lock in. Please press
It's
lock
a
in.
blind.
Someone called.
It's a blind pick. You should never blind 𝘂𝗃, man.
Aww.
No.
That's much more reasonable as a blind pick. Again, we need more
Yeah.
tanks in this damn league, but Aatrox is sort of a pseudo tank with the insane amount of healing he can get. So
if we ever see top Jace,
oh wait,
it is okay. The
Hello.
Zeros Fiora coming in. Okay. Rebel, what's your thought on the Fiora?
so like when Aatrox first got reworked, he was ridiculously strong. Like they dramatically overbuffed him, but one of the best responses to it was Fiora because it outscaled. It's been a long time since then, and I've seen this matchup actually flow a lot further back into the pocket of this Aatrox, where like it's not just the definitive win in the later stages for the Fiora in the side lane. There's still counterplay now that Aatrox has in terms of damage and sustain. So like early laning is tough. If Zeros can get going and they can try to isolate this lane, you're not going to have much of a problem. But man, Draktar's been bearing down on this, so this is a little risky in my mind.
I mean, see, my problem here is I think Fiora is a good pick into the matchup. Like, you can't gank this Fiora. With Hecarim and Aatrox, you can't gank it. She just presses W and probably 1v2. But we've seen good Fiora picks. Yoshino, I know he's obviously team, but he is a good player. He's picked this Fiora. Yeah, you get to win lane, and then nothing. Fiora, fantastic solo queue. Everyone gives up at 10 minutes if you're behind. Professional play, yucky, but we'll have to see how it goes. What is your prediction? Who is taking this series, Rebel?
I called that SBTC would win this one. I do think that their composition is really well crafted in this game compared to the last two, so I'm going to stick with that and say that they end up taking this one 2-1. Go Draktar.
Right. We'll have to see. Look, I am keen to see the Fiora. She is fun to see, but I'm always very concerned about her in professional play.
I think this team comp, for the most part, is actually very well set up to work around this split pusher in a 4-1 scenario, because the disengage that SBTC has is very strong. Their engage isn't the greatest. They rely on either hooks, Shurima Shuffle, or Udyr running at you, but they have such very strong. They have a very strong core that just keeps themselves safe, that they could be able to take the 5v4s in a not necessarily win them, but come out very even, try and disengage and not lose too much or trade 1-for-1 if it comes to that, while Zeros gets to just smash their side lanes. Plus, as we all know, Zeros is one of our best top laners in terms of just pure mechanics, so he should be able to bully out Ryu quite a lot and make sure he has that lead he can carry into the split push in the later stages of the game. So I think this is maybe one of the times where we actually see it work out for the Fiora.
We'll have to find out. Zeros, it does suit his playstyle. It's just a matter of if the split push will work. Who knows? Hey, if he gets a lead like last game, Fiora it's going to be on Ryu to play considerably better. And we'll have to see what the junglers have to say about it. Early on, predictably, the shove does go BTS's way in the bot side. Early priority over towards the 𝘁cie. The 𝘁cie. That is what that champion is named. So yeah, doing well.
Yeah, so should be early on. That should be sort of a reverse of the should be a bit of a reverse of game one, where the mid and bot are pushing for BTS, where the top lane is for SBTC. And that should, in theory, give Draktar a little bit more in terms of decision-making of what he wants to do. However, the setup is very rough, because Elio gets completely undone by Slay, and so you're really looking for this mid lane gank, I think, if you're going for anything, or you're punishing this top lane and the overextension. But it's very hard to do into the 𝘂𝗶𝗆 because all the CC in this in the top jungle is so telegraphed, as you mentioned before in the draft. It's very hard for them to set it up.
Yeah, 𝗁𝗂𝗏 runs in and 𝘂𝗆𝗆 gets...
Yeah.
There's not a lot he can do about it. There are like minor outplays, but in general, 𝘂𝗆𝗏 is pretty happy to just press W, gets the shove in, will cheat a recall as 𝘁𝗏𝗺 spots Yijin early, and 𝘂𝗏𝗏 and 𝘁𝗏𝗀 are already on the move, but Yijin is quick, flashes away from 𝘁𝗀𝗀 as well. A couple tower shots will not be enough. 𝘁𝗀1 was trying to zone 𝘁𝗀𝗀 out, and oh my god, this teleport is really bad. 𝘂𝗏𝗏 has to flash immediately, but why is he turning? That's ridiculously bold. A flash away from Ryuk as well. What a messy little play. Wow.
That was garbage.
Yeah, that was shocking.
So the teleport from Zero is way too deep, and the only reason he gets out of there is because they weren't able to kill him in time, and so Celebrity
Honestly,
and Slay got
it
to make
was,
the
it was
walk.
balls of steel from 𝘁𝗀𝗏. 𝘁𝗀𝗏 wanted to back off super early, but couldn't, because he had to be there to threaten so that they couldn't just instantly kill Zeros.
Yeah, so
I'm not a huge fan of
all
that
in all,
play.
So a bit of a trying to punish Yijin and get the flash for Ghost trade ends up blowing a lot more summon spells. Everything's gone from the top lane. The heal and ignite blown from Karo and Elio as they tried to finish off that kill, and it's just a bit of a mess. As Ryuk though, his late teleport has meant that he's able to get a good bit of experience and get this wave shoving. It is going to still be a small CS lead for Zeros because he has the wave crashing in, but the second wave coming actually really upsets Ryuk because it's
yeah. Honestly,
it doesn't quite touch the tower because of where the minions were, but it's still actually it's probably not possible to set up the freeze. So it's going to be okay for Ryuk. He's going to wander back to lane with the Bramble Vest and have a good time.
Oh, 𝘁𝗀𝗏 has to try and get away from the 𝗁𝗂𝗏. Does it fairly easily. Slay was tempted. Getting out of lane early and often on this Thresh once more. Fantastic in the last game, even though it wasn't enough to get them over the line. Zeros, level 6.
Yeah, but the item advantage is for Ryuk, and here's 𝘁𝗏𝗺.
Does he have the riposte? He does, and yeah, that's why you can't gank 𝘂𝗀𝗏 as 𝗁𝗂𝗏.
Yeah.
You can't do it. Oh, Glory in a lot of trouble. The Flay doesn't land. Running up the lane as Big Koro comes in from the side along with 𝘁𝗀𝗏. They pick up the kill. Yijin doesn't get anything back, and it's the super bad time chokers once more. Glory gets the kill, and it's a big lead for BTS.
So much committed, but Glory manages to outplay it. He's got the early 𝘁𝗍𝗱, so he's running at a pretty good speed himself at this stage in the game compared to the rest of the map, and he manages to stay alive due to a great engage from Elio to just interrupt the damage from Deer and Slay. That's going to be a big swing over to them. First blood even goes to Big Koro. It's traded for a tower plate and a bit of CS, but overall I think that's gold positive in that bot lane.
I'm not sure. We don't have gold
totals. So the
no.
first blood bonus does balances out the gold plate by itself. There's a little bit of CS. There's a bit of, and the CS leader isn't enough to make up the kill. So at the moment, Big Koro is ahead in gold.
Okay, that's okay. I misheard you. I thought you were trying to say SBTC came out positive.
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah, no.
We agree then.
Definitely.
We totally agree. My mistake. My mistake. My mistake. I misheard you. I understand why I disagreed. Let's have a look at the replay. It was 𝘁𝗀𝗏 going aggressive, but Glory played it well, forced the shuffle to not be a true shuffle, and 𝘁𝗀𝗏 gets away, but the rest of his team does not.
Yeah, it was a very good move from it was actually pretty good from 𝘁𝗀𝗏 to alter the direction of that shuffle so that he still gets damage off instead of just whiffing it entirely for the flash. But unfortunately, the collapse was too quick for BTS, and the punish came through onto 𝘁 and 𝘁𝑺. And I'm really liking how active BTS is on this map, especially from the bot lane. They're not just trying to farm it 1v1. 𝘁𝗀𝗃 and 𝘂𝑺 are roaming together, which is not something you expect. So sure, you may be banking it on a Rakan showing up and saying, we can take this if Rakan shows up. You're never expecting the 𝘁cie to roam with him. And that's why a lot of the time BTS is coming out on top on a lot of these roams, because 𝘁𝗀 is here first when he really has no right to be.
Yeah, it's very, very true. It's aggressive from BTS, but it's working. 𝘂𝑺 moving forward. Ryuk could be in some trouble. The grand challenge comes out. Yejin sprinting forward, but can't actually do anything. Ryuk just too fast. Actually winning the trade in the end. Needs to make sure he doesn't get too cocky. But 𝘁𝗏𝘆 coming up the lane.
Yeah,
go anywhere.
Really, really good moves from Ryuk. They're using the dash of his own to stop 𝘂𝗀 getting that second vital proc. That just means 𝘂𝗀, and the turnaround was fantastic. But Celebrity and 𝘁, they've decided we're going to roam out of lane, and that's going to net a Rift Herald over to BTS. Not much they can do to contest that.
Celebrity doesn't realize. Yeah, doesn't realize that bush was occupied, but the Herald was secured cleanly there for SBTC. So they're 1k gold down, but do manage to pick up that objective very smoothly. Everything goes right for once, and D1 will head back to base in a fairly safe position.
Yeah, hate it going into bushes that are occupied. You're already in a rush, and then it's just like, oh, you have to go find a real lavatory. I'm sorry.
And it is going to be the swap coming out. SBTC keep their bot lane up on this top side as they drop the Herald. This is interesting here because it splits the top laners apart, of course. They do pick up a huge amount of gold as they get all of those tower plates over onto the ADC and onto Yejin. But Ryuk is actually going... No, but Ryuk is winning the matchup.
No, I mean more he was trying to hit the eye, but the Rift Herald kept turning.
That was mean. That was mean. But he's winning the matchup against this 𝘂𝗀. The picked, and it's not working out so far. Ryuk playing very, very well on this A, which is good to see. Wasn't too impressed by his Wukong, but goes over to the Darken, and certainly looks very impressive.
So he has picked up a small advantage for himself, and that big part of that is due to the swap of Celebrity and 𝘁 coming up. They really wanted to get the gold onto them, and it meant that 𝘂𝗀 had to give up a wave to make the swap. But 𝘂𝗀𝗆 and 𝘂𝗀 actually really helped out SBTC there, because they saw the swap come. They were like, okay, we need to respond to that. Started walking halfway up the river, realized they were way too late, had to walk back down. And by that time, 𝘂𝗀 was there. They couldn't punish and just hit the tower for free. So they only get one plate out of it compared to the 4 that Celebrity ends up getting. And despite all that, it's extremely even, because Celebrity had to share his wealth, as 𝘂𝗀𝗆 just gets the whole first blood to himself. So very even across the board.
Sharing wealth, you say? Interesting. As D1 farming up in the mid lane. Gale Force has just been completed for Celebrity. Did get a nice reset there. It's going to be a race for first tower. Not actually sure who's ahead. It is SBTC. They get it. I wasn't... Oh, of course. What am I saying? I don't know who's ahead. Of course I know who's ahead. The Herald was top. God, I'm silly. Sorry, I misspoke. They are miles ahead.
Yeah, in the end, it's going to be...
Ooh, teleport coming in. They're going to dive Ryuk and give up the dragon. It's Aatrox for dragon.
Yeah,
there's the 𝘂𝗀𝗆 ult. He pushes himself up against the wall. There's the heal field coming out. 𝘂𝗀, be careful. The tower still hurts, but the 𝘂𝗀𝗆 heal field is incredibly strong. They walk back through the tower. I think they need to pick up this structure to make this actually worth. And they should.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, it's still kind of worthwhile because they got the first tower, so it's not like the snowball is happening for dragons. Plus, they are taking their time taking the structure. So overall, would have been tower for tower, kill for dragon. So, but yeah, getting that extra tower does put 𝘁cie firmly ahead in this trade, and it was just a really slow response from the rest of BTS. They didn't want to send anyone down to make sure the wave got cleared. All the dive tools had been used already, so slow reactions means 𝘁cie comes out on top.
For now, at least. Getting that dragon, of course, will persist for the entirety of the game. They didn't get both early dragons, so it's not like they can really hard threaten Soul or anything. And with DL1 in a fine position, he will be a scaling threat as the game continues, as will Celebrity, of course. I'm a little bit worried about Fiora, though. Already the Bramble Vest on Ryuk ahead in the 1v1 matchup. It might be hard for him to get his split push on, and if they end up having to go to team fights, Aatrox does a fair bit more as DL1 gets the scoop, Yijin gets the slap, and Ryuk, well, welcome to the VCS, buddy.
Whiffs everything. It's
he couldn't do it. He was dead. There's nothing he can do.
I mean, yeah, he was dead pretty much either way, but whiffing everything's not a good look. So that is going to be a bit of a relief for Zeros. He's going to be able to use that time to catch up, and Big Coro's mad about it.
Yeah, but he's going to try and super server. Oh, close, nearly got done in. Oh my, if he had just flashed a little bit tighter, he actually wins that. That was pixels away from Zeros winning. But Big Coro takes the initiative and does win out. There it is, the play coming in. Instant teleport. They assume that's going to be Ryuk popping on out. There it is, 3v3, slay low. But so are Elio and Big Coro. Celebrity goes, presses the ultimate, and in comes 𝘁𝗂𝗋. Choo-choo! Gets one for one at the moment. Slay can't lantern himself out, and Ryuk will spread his wings and pick up the second.
Yeah, great disengage from Elio to stop the initial play. Gives enough time for the collapse to come through. And now in the mid lane, Yijin's looking for something. Flash for flash out of Glory. That's a small victory for the side of the Udyr, but big BTS as a whole, they are fighting tooth and nail, and the game is so close. It is tight.
Yeah. This is extremely tight at the moment, which we want in a Game 3. We don't want blowouts. We want our series to go the distance and give us that excitement. So let's have a look at Zeros here. He doesn't know that Big Coro's around, but he nearly wins this.
Yeah, it's just a very good move to try. Blocks a lot of damage, tries to punch tries to punch the quick 1, 2, 3, but just flashes a little bit too far.
He had to take a step. If he gets that auto attack, because he actually got the Fiora stepped forward, which meant there was time for the auto attack. If that auto attack goes off, he gets healed, he wins the one. It was really, really close, but Big Coro, of course, wins it out.
And the amount of movement he has to make on that speed is just ridiculous. You can't blame him for flubbing it.
It's
really,
super hard. It's super hard.
It's super impressive he was able to get it that close. But all that said, we come back to seeing 𝘁cie. They are first to these objectives time and time again. They pick up another Rift Herald, and that should be able to secure them another turret, especially if we get into this positioning for Dragon. They can use that to set themselves up extremely well, break open a mid turret, or at least get the pressure so they can take this Dragon and get themselves closer to Soul. And everyone likes Soul this time.
Yeah,
most people.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about Cloud Drakes is it's one of those Souls where you're like, kind of wish I didn't get the early dragons. Because you want more stacks of the actual dragon itself. It's really strong.
True.
But 3 is plenty, so they definitely won't be complaining about that. The gold remains dead even. 100% dead even. This is an exciting one, Marby.
Yeah, this is much closer than I thought it was going to be, but
absolutely.
But at this point, BTS has the positioning in mid lane, but there's the Herald. It's going to end up being a bit of a trade.
Yep, that Herald just buys them space, but the Dragon's already gone down. 𝗀𝗃𝗃 and 𝘁𝗀𝗆 just bursted out. Really well played there from BTS. I didn't even notice it all. Minimap. Very smart stuff.
Got in there completely unnoticed and caught SBTC lacking. They thought they may have had enough time. Otherwise they probably would have pushed in and tried to secure the turret with the Herald, but as it is, BTS just ends up winning on all accounts. You lose some health, sure, but you've got the extra dragon. You've still got the turret to work around. And now it's just a matter of pushing down these last outer turrets, get some more gold onto your carries. It's going to be trading the spot one for DO1 and top lane for 𝘁𝗀𝗃 or not.
Well, they're actually not on it at the moment, and with SBTC reinforcing it, like they're gonna try and take away a red buff and go for a fight onto 𝘁cie. He is in a lot of trouble to the 𝘀𝗃𝗃, but look at the trade here. I think this is a huge mistake from BTS. 𝘁𝗃 is unable to step up, has already had to use their ult. You got a kill on a support and stole a red buff, and you lost 2 towers.
Yeah, you've absolutely overcommitted just to get the red buff. They did not expect. They weren't tracking where Yijin was. And they need now. Celebrity has to be extreme.
Yeah, but look at the teleport coming in. Yeah, he had Featherstorm as well, so they couldn't safely dive. The disengage is good there out of Glory, but I think BTS have just stumbled pretty massively there. Definitely no game-ending mistakes, but just looking a little bit shaky.
Now they need to retreat to the mid lane to make sure they can defend this without because in the end it might end up being a 3 towers for 1.
Yijin going on in, gets a slap, 𝘁𝗃 dives in, and DO1 double scoop. Oh, you love it on a hot summer's day, the double scoop of ice creams. Kill, but goes down in exchange. A worthy trade, but 𝘁𝗀𝗃𝗃, he wants DO1! And he'll claim him.
Alright, he's used the ultimate, so he can't exactly get it in. He's got the flash down as well. He might look for something. He still has the heal to outplay and the double buffs, but it should just be this tower going down as well. It's just so low.
Ooh, one order will do it. Careful. Currently could
that's the heal.
Yeah, he has to be very, very careful.
Blocked off by the box.
Yeah, not quite able to get close enough. Well done there from the SBTC bot lane. Evacuating. It is now about 2k gold lead for SBTC and cracked open, but it should be a trade on this mid lane tower.
Yeah, they should bring it back to within 1k, and that's completely fine spitting distance. It's really tough to say how these late games will turn out because realistically, the 2 main teamfight carries for SBTC are stronger, and as we're just going to hold that for the replay, just a good move from DO1. That ultimate keeps so many people in check. Zeros reaches a little bit far, cutting down 𝘁𝗀𝗃𝗃, but overall it's a complete wipe, and it's just that 𝘁𝗀𝗃𝗃 arrives to clean up 1, but that's absolutely fine. You got such a big victory out of that. It brings you into an actual lead, and it's all because BTS were just struggling to take down that top lane tower. They wanted to take too much. And
if you want to see the strength of macro plays in terms of getting tower plates, 𝘁𝗀𝗃𝗃 is currently 3-0, and he is an entire item behind Xayah. Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely.
The farm is even, but this is purely due to macro play. It's a full item. There is obviously difference in expense of builds, but still, it's a pretty big gap.
I mean, the difference in expense is actually, I think, in the favor of Celebrity at the moment, because Essence Reaver is a pricey
Speaking of
item.
Celebrity, 𝘀𝗃𝗃 diving forward, but 𝘁𝚋, once again, they're in plenty of time to save the Xayah. 30 seconds on a Cloud Drake, Baron alive, and BTS forcing SBTC to re-establish vision around the big purple worm.
So as things are, it's very, very hit and miss. Neither side has particularly great vision into the other's jungle, so it's hard for them to realistically make these aggressive pushes. But with all this focus on
BTS,
Baron,
Johnny
Dragon
on the spot.
kinda got ignored, and
SPTC is
BTS
just going to take Baron, though. They have to rush Baron. They lose out so hard if they don't rush Baron. But I
yeah,
think
they're
they can.
making moves now.
Yep.
But I don't.
They're
might
fine
not
with
be
this
able to
fight. They turn. They just have to turn.
Oh.
Oh, but there's no teleport for Zeros. SPTC's macro. It's not good enough. They lose the dragon. They don't get a fight. They don't get the Baron. I hate to see it.
They make the right call in terms of going for the Baron, but they feel
Yijin
far
charging
too
forward,
Oh,
gets the stun on target. Not really. They just kind of chase them off. They get vision control, but still don't actually get any objective.
Yeah, SBTC playing not necessarily to win. That is the problem. They're playing not to lose, and that is the worst way to play League of Legends. I mean, except for playing to lose, which, I mean,
It's not happening.
objectively.
Anyway, yeah. This is,
but not taking these risks by just playing far too risk-averse, I think they could have held on and tanked that Baron for quite a while and waited for Fiora to arrive naturally. You don't really want Fiora at the start of the team fight anyway, but finally they're going for the
𝗀𝗏𝗺's
sneak.
going to spot them.
𝗀𝗏𝗺's, yeah.
4k health. 𝗀𝗏𝗺 has to go for the steal.
Level
He's
8.
charging up his speed. They're going to try and keep him out. There's the smites, and it will... With the hands of steel, the lantern... Celebrity might have to flash out of the pit. No, the lantern comes back off cooldown. They will sacrifice DR1, but claim themselves a Baron. So close on the smite from 𝗀𝗏𝗺.
Yeah, having that level lead made that extremely tense, but Yijin manages to get it. They managed to get away only losing DR1, so huge victory for SBTC. They have to make the most of this Baron, because by the time that's worn off, that's when you're looking to set up for that final dragon and set up that soul fight.
Yeah, and BTS love this soul. Really love it. That movement speed, extremely powerful for them. An attempted red buff steal is, they hit the abort button. Yijin gets on out of there nice and safely. 𝘁cie once again having a very good performance on this Thresh, saving everyone with those lanterns at perfect times.
The unfortunate thing for SBTC is they haven't got any free gold to take with this Baron buff. The only tower outside of the base itself is this mid lane inner.
DR1. Never mind. Clean Azir mechanics, walls away Glory, and then zoops himself on out of there to his soldiers. And 𝘁ci𝗱𝗆's Glory will continue to live. But it's a push into the mid lane, and it's going to be a big engage. They get onto Celebrity, and pop goes the Xayah. Trust me, birds can't take that kind of abuse. Now BTS, being against a Baron buff, are sieging the mid lane and looking dominant.
Huge outplays. They're going to be able to get this pressure into the mid lane, take this turret. Maybe taking the inhibitor is a bit early. That said, your only tower outside of the base is that mid lane, so these super minions, using them to delay the Baron buff and make that and render that obsolete is I'm actually all for that. Never mind the whole feeding minions in. You just want to delay this Baron buff, stop SBTC from getting even further ahead. It's still within like 1,000 gold, give or take.
The gold lead is
so
tense.
tense.
Yeah, the gold lead is super negligible at this point. At this point, it's all about compositions and map positioning. This was a big one for SBTC. Big Koro has been having a fantastic game on this 𝘁cie𝗱𝗆. Always in position to ult in, super threatening. Ryuk has been quiet for the last little bit, just has been nullifying Zeros, which is actually totally definitely the right thing to do. If you can stop this Fiora pushing the side lanes, you kind of render her useless, even if you can't actually keep up in farm. And yeah, it's just ping pong waves. Just makes, if that's all Zeros is doing, you're happy. You play this 4v4 every day of the week.
Yeah, and even though his scoreline looks a little bit dodgy, Ryuk is on even items with Zeros. He is doing completely fine. and that just means that overall that this Fiora isn't having the impact that she really wants to have. And here we are, the soul fight. It's not a great position. Neither of the team has really great position. BTS are a little bit split up, and 𝘂𝘂 has a very strong flank available. And
yeah, but it's only a Fiora flank.
That said, 𝘁𝗀𝗄's a Narnia
Yeah,
moment.
there it is. Goes straight across, but it's a good feather. Deal the damage. Ryuk going in onto Dia 1. 𝘁𝘀 has to flash overall. He can't fight. Azir has fallen. 𝘁𝗄𝗏 returns to dust. And that's going to be BTS hard winning the fight. Ryuk played bouncer, played gatekeeper. Teleport in from Glory. They're not going to bother with the soul. They want the game. They want the series. And SBTC just their playoff run just got a hell of a lot dicier. I forgot how to talk for a bit there. As the siege onto the mid lane towers. One going down. 𝘁𝘂𝘆 and 𝘁𝘂𝗀. A very low. SBTC might be able to hold this one if there is some good play. 𝘁𝘀 dealing a lot of damage onto Ryuk. Is it going to be enough? Oh, 𝘂𝘂 gets chunked out. 𝘁𝘂𝘆 goes down. 𝘁𝘂𝗀 goes. And the Nexus will survive. And there's a teleport out of 𝘂𝘂. Everybody needs backs. Oh my word. Are they going to turn? This is some intense stuff because Dia 1's in the mid lane. He has to kill Big Koro. But Glory's too good. 𝘁𝘂𝘀 goes forward. Goes gold. Does Dia 1. Ryuk try to zone them off. As 𝘂𝘂 has gotten through the inhib minions. He has 10 seconds. Ryuk on the run. Glory, will he get back? He will. They have to back away. It's just the inhib. What a flurry of time.
Alright, so one inhib down for both, but there is positioning on the soul for Yijin and the rest of SBTC. They managed to deny the soul. They managed to hold on. This game is going to keep going. Mm-hmm. And there's only 20 seconds to Baron, so take some breaths, my friend. You are probably going to need them very shortly.
I think I will. Hopefully my mic just decides to not cut out for a fight. That'd be really cool.
Up towards your mic. Your direct.
I did have
maybe the directional.
Yeah. Maybe. Actually, that's actually something to look at.
But yeah, we're just gonna see. There's not a lot of vision down. There's super minions pouring through mid lane and top lane in either direction. So what these teams are going to need to do is get their shove going to make sure it's okay. It's slightly better for SBTC having that shorter lane to work with, but it's the top side, Big Koro shoving down now. They can try and get this to work. No teleports on the side of SBTC. Ryuk still has his, so Fiora has to be very careful about shoving the spot wave. And BTS are already set on the Baron, and they're going for it.
It's going to go down very, very quickly as well. There's no last of a steal. He's not quick enough. He's fast, but not that fast. The Baron buff goes to BTS, but the lanes are pushing very hard for SBTC. 𝘁𝘀 on this inhib tower. Can he get it before the recalls? He can't. He needs to run. Him going down would have been a disaster. So BTS will have the buff for 2.5 minutes.
So because BTS took that inhibitor in the mid lane before on the last Baron, it's actually just come up. So there's actually a lot of pressure relief for SBTC. They don't have to deal about empowered super minions. They just have to deal with empowered minions. And they have the super streaming in through topside, so that's where BTS is going to have to spend a lot of their time just pushing out this top wave, taking those last two turrets and forcing them to respond. But now Ryuk's in the side lane. He may be collapsed upon. Oh, he's playing it very safe.
Yeah, he plays it extremely safe. Actually show himself as there's a group in the mid side. Big Koro off to the top. I think they want to bait 𝘂𝘂 in and then kill him with 𝘁𝘂𝘆 there. I think 𝘁𝘂𝘆 is just shadowing. He's not going to show. He's just going to shadow.
Yeah. But 𝘂𝘂, he's gunning a little bit of backup with him. They're not willing to risk it. They saw the rest. They got the missing pings. They saw the rest collapsing up through the mid lane, and the jungle. So they're definitely playing it very safe. They don't want to throw the lead at this point because whoever loses the next team fight almost certainly loses the game.
Yeah, almost certainly. There is no objective on the map for about 2 minutes as well, so it is just the minions at the moment. Both teams can sort of avoid a fight, and that suits SBTC, at least for the next minute, while they are against the Baron buff. Dia tagged by that 𝗂𝗍𝗶𝗆, and look at that lantern. That lantern is purely if 𝗂𝗍𝗶 jumps forward, click this. So they're very worried. The hook misses. 𝘀𝗀𝘺 goes forward. The inhib falls. Is BTS going to go for the dance in the base?
Looks like it. They look positioning very aggressively. It's just looking for that engage, maybe a pick onto Celebrity or Dia. But Yijin, he's also looking for a pick of his own, and it's very rough. BTS could be utilizing this much better, but they see the end in sight. They're tunnel visioning, and there's still supers pouring into their base, so they have to be extremely careful. And they're gonna give up so much positioning, and the Baron ends up being useless, and they've given up positioning on the Dragon as well. So SBTC, they're gonna pick up their own second Cloud Drake.
Still 40 seconds away.
It's true, and they are resetting now, but
this is going to be the fight.
That could very much be a uncontested Soul with how early late they've reset. May be able to get. They should be able to get there in time. Yijin particularly, but that bot wave pressure has kept Dia1 locked up. 10 seconds.
Teleport for both top laners. They are off in the side lane. Fiora at this point goes forward onto Ryuk, uses a game-deciding 1v1, playing it well, but look at this, the reinforcements arrive, screaming on and Fiora. This will lose them the dragon, but it might end up winning them the game, as Fiora is off the map for an entire minute, and that's not a soul for SBTC, it's just another dragon stack. They're going to fly up the mid lane and try and end.
Yeah, BTS didn't use any of their engage ultimates. They still have Rakan, they still have 𝗂𝗂𝗃, and Ryuk is back on the map at full health. This is definitely a good chance for them to do it.
Dia1 gets back.
They need to land a good onslaught, preferably onto Thresh to deny the flay.
I think it's got to be into the backside. There it is. There's the feather. But look at the damage going in onto Yijin. Tank at this stage of the game goes down, but the wave is cleared. This buys them another few seconds, desperately trying to hold. The super minion needs to be what's taken down, and Dia1's wave clear alongside Celebrity will keep them alive. These chickens aren't cooked.
This wave clear is just too much. They need to kill the carries. They cannot just kill Yijin. Zeros is back up on the map, and we've just seen how aggressive how much he wins this 1v1 in the side lane. So all they need to do is keep this pressure up and force BTS to trade. Do you trade Ryuk for objective? If you trade Ryuk, you probably end up losing your base. If you trade objective, you're starting to look at losing Barons and Souls.
40 seconds on Baron. This is a tight game. Full build for Celebrity. Pretty much full build for Dia1. It still has a slot clear for wards at the moment, but probably has quite a bit of gold in his back pocket. So this is it. Very, very scary. It's just coming down to 𝘀𝗀𝘺 engages at this point.
Yeah, it all comes down to the engage. If 𝘀𝗀𝘺 and 𝘂𝗑𝗏 can find a good setup onto the carries, a task that is so hard because the disengage from Slay, Dia, and Celebrity is so much. They're just trying to burn this Baron down again.
Yijin has a blast cone.
A fight.
Oh no, he has a blast cone, but he doesn't get over because Baron knocked him. Oh my god, that AI! As the Featherstorm is used, Yeah, no.
Celebrity's down.
Celebrity will go down.
Just it.
Tier 1's gone down and BTS are winning this fight. There's the third. There's the fourth. And can they get one more? That's going to be a quadra kill for Big Coro. Living up to the big part of his name. Big plays in a big game. A big series for BTS.
They are not able to get the pentakill for Big Coro, but who the hell cares? They are going to pick up the game. And this is a huge upset for BTS. They have conquered the big time chicken. They have said that they have the best bird-shaped logo in the league, even though realistically, their logo still sucks. Sorry guys.
It does, but BTS picked up a win. Looking good. What a performance. They play spoiler to the super big time chickens. Remove them. Well, just take the series. Makes their playoff run much, much harder. And my, oh my, let's get our analyst back in here. Mr. Rebel Fox, what did you think of game number 3?
Yeah, I'm just baffled, man. Like, I thought this would actually take a little bit more time before they're able to fully implement what exactly would happen with their roster when they were able to bring in Ryuk and everything else that would come about. But all of a sudden, their top lane looks okay. It's not perfect, but it's at least working as a stopgap. 𝘁𝗏𝗺 and 𝘁𝟁 are playing amazingly. When Big Coro gets into late game with some of these ADCs, he's able to contest with the best. This is a statement win for 𝘁𝗏𝗺. Maybe this is the turning point for them to be able to turn around in the split. Maybe make that playoff run that hopefully they'll now be in a lot better position for.
Amazing stuff there. Wow. Whew. I need to catch my breath after that one. So if you guys have anything, but if production's ready for us to go to a break. Okay.
I think my final thoughts on that is just this is the BTS that I was really hoping would be sort of contesting that 5th and 6th spot at the start of the split. I wasn't super hopeful with their roster, but the step up from Yulwei, the step up from 𝘁𝟁 and 𝘁𝗏𝗺 over the course of the split, 𝘁𝟁 more so in the last couple of weeks, or today more than anything. Just this team, I'm starting to get back on. I'm getting back on my shit, 𝘁𝟁, boy. Back on my bullshit.
After today, I can't blame you. After today, I can't blame you. But 𝘀𝘁cie𝗱𝗆𝘆 takes the title. You 𝘀𝘁cie𝗱𝗆𝘆. But we'll be back for our second series. Cerberus will be going to the Rift, possibly with the first non-Vietnamese player we've ever seen. Don't go anywhere, guys. VCS English will be back in about half an hour. We'll see you then.
Pugs for pass.